Hey, this is Death Unto Madness, episode 36. And we are, the beginning of the end is happening. We'll see how long it takes us to actually get to the end, but we're certainly in the end game now. And let's go ahead and read off our Artha, our beliefs and instincts and whatnot. And then jump into it here on Death Unto Madness. We're going to save Sinia today. Alpheus, what are your bits?
My camera's all blurry.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Weird.
I think I need to wipe it. I feel guilty for Titan kidnapping Ben, so I'll do everything I can to keep him safe and establish him as the rightful king. In order to avoid more bloodshed, I will convince Cyrillus to stop this path of chaos that he has chosen and give Sinia to Ben and Joser. My instincts are always try to talk my way out of trouble, always treat others of the lower classes with respect, and always ensure that those I trust are lifted up. And my traits...
And then, I was going to say, for good measure, since this may be the last session we ever do, let's go ahead and read up traits too.
Cramped hands, pragmatic, impulsive, catalyst, stubborn, driven, handshaker.
Very fun. All right, Joser.
I've been marked by my divine station and must live up to the charge given me. I will make sure Avra and Caledon are married.
Mm-hmm.
My father's purposes are of greater import than my own safety. I will activate the right of protection. And my light must be increased if I am to pierce the coming darkness, so I will increase my faith.
Very nice.
My instincts are always pray before addressing others. If Thalia is addressed negatively, then I ready my knife. And if I see wounds, I mend them. And then my big trait list is rabble-rouser, well-travelled, cunning and strange, as well as faithful, manhunter, weather sense, believer, vested, chosen one, force of nature, spirit familiar, luminescent scars, and the call-ons of revered and resigned to death.
Very nice. Maya, what do you got?
I'll do whatever it takes to elevate my son to the place of prophet king. I will teach him how to be charismatic. I will protect Ben at all costs. I will convince any opposition we face that they are wasting their time with us. I want a relationship with my sister. I will do something to ensure her wedding day is special. My husband needs to stay safe. I will find someone to guard my husband during the battle. Instincts, I will always put my family first. Took out the no matter what part, but still putting my family first, you know. Never back down from a challenge. Always be helping from behind the scenes. And traits, colorful, religious, ambitious, thick-skinned, mark of privilege, bastard, loyal, power behind the throne, glib, and familiar face.
Nice. And then last but not least, Avra.
I believe Sinia can be reclaimed. I will see Caledon sat on the throne with whatever aid the Irida can provide. I believe Alikos is a powerful asset. I will use my falconry skills to give us the upper hand in this battle. I believe a lady is not noble without a bird on her arm. I will win over Balthazar for Maya. My instincts, if I have a task beyond my specialty, then I seek the advice of someone more competent. If I have a question, then I will consult answers from the Irida. If I don't know someone's intentions, I will not reveal my secrets. Traits, your grace, formalist, religious, competitive, and careful. And my die traits are birdie talk, mark of privilege, dreamer, practiced precision, and affinity for birds.
And driven. Very nice.
Oh, yes. For a call-on trait.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I think first we're starting off with a wedding, right? It doesn't need to be anything more than... I mean, we didn't even have to make a roll at all for this if we didn't want to, but Joser has the ritual skill, so why not, right? So we can start with that. But I mean, ritual would probably be the last thing that's rolled, right? So Maya, if you wanted to do some sort of like song or something, someone frame this for me. Like, why is this happening? How is this happening? Like, what does this look like?
Well, I think like the moment that we agree that Caledon is going to do it, I'm like, okay, on wedding time. And Maya's just like, let's go doll you up, you know, like let's like do, you know, Make
Yeah.
you get you in a nice dress and
In the last
you know.
hours before the invasion. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Just because it's necessary doesn't mean that it shouldn't be important.
Exactly. And I think Maya would, you know, I don't know, like she's gonna try to like, you know, make sure that, you know, she's like, I want you, you know, like I know that this is kind of a rush thing, but like, you know, like time is short and who knows, you know, like you know,
We could all
kind of-
die today.
you know, we could all die today. So let's make sure that we just enjoy this moment right now. And I don't know, the only thing she's good at is like she's like, would you be like, how about like, you know, I sing a song while you walk down the aisle, kind of a thing. You know, like set the mood.
I think anything that gets rolled here is going to be like a linked test for Joser's final ritual roll. That makes the most sense to me. If that's down, if you guys are down with that. Right, this is all kind of just leading to the final ritual, and it's not going to be a super difficult ritual test, but I don't know if the tests need to be anything other than linked tests towards that ritual, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Avra, you're doing sing then, is what you said?
Maya, but yes.
Or yeah, Maya. Yeah, you have a 2 in it.
I have a 3 in it. Thank you.
You have a 2 in. Oh, I'm looking at Avra. Avra has it. I was literally. That's why I said that. Is I was opening Avra's character sheet as I was saying this. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
So
That's
I have a
funny. I
3,
didn't
but
even
I
know
have things
Avra
that
had sing.
I have things I can fork in, so
Yeah.
you know, I think it'll be okay.
I'm so glad I can just search a skill in Roll20 now. That's so nice.
I think it's based on the person's will.
Yeah, it's the will of the listener. If the song is suitable to the mood, add advantage. The test can be used for link test or to convey an idea. So link test just to kind of make the wedding more awesome. Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay, so here's my pitch for all my forks in for
Your
sing.
forks, yeah.
Okay. Soothing platitudes, because we literally about to go into battle and I'm trying to like make this a very calming,
Sure.
you know, thing for everybody. I'm trying to make it a, you know, a nice, like, not ballad necessarily, but you know, it's a beautiful, lovely love song, you know? Let's all just focus on the love for a little bit. Okay. Family wise to know
all the females who have been watching the show are finally like, oh goodness, finally a scene for me.
Right.
All this death and murder. Like, let's get a wedding in here for
go.
once.
Family wise to know what Avra would like in like a song that she would enjoy.
Certainly.
Etiquette, so I'm not like, you know,
yes, knowing the right song to pick. Yep.
Right. Drama wise.
Yep.
Conspicuous.
Yes.
And possibly acting.
I don't think
know
acting.
if I'm acting. Okay. All right. That's fair. Court wise, possibly to know like.
I don't think so.
No, there's not enough court there. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got 5. All right.
Yeah.
So,
I think those ones are
okay.
Are certainly relevant. The only one that it lists as like an automatic is poetry. But given the situation, all of these I think make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And it's just a link test.
And then I also get 1 extra because of I'm setting the mood.
Right. Yeah. You've chosen the right song for the mood. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's 6. So what's my ob then? Am I doing this to Avra or like the audience in general? I guess it's because I want a relationship with my sister, right? I'm trying to like suit her taste specifically.
It's a links test, so I could just make it like, you know, up 2 or 3 as just like, does it help or whatever. But I think like an oratory style, like common will exponent of the audience makes sense here, right? Because this is all about like the combined efforts of everyone at the wedding. Does it go well or not, sort of a thing. So I'm thinking probably a 4 makes sense.
You know what? This might be our last session ever. I'm just going to throw a persona in there. Why not?
There you go.
Why not? Face up 4.
Oof.
Oh no,
really
that's awful.
That was really bad.
Why is that so bad? I rolled 9 dice.
1 success and 10 dice with that Artha.
Oh my god! Why is this so terrible?
That was pretty bad.
Wow, way to kick off the finale, everybody!
Yep,
wow,
this is a great precedence.
Well, I mean, I might as well. I don't even have a 6.
Not
wow,
even a 6.
That sucks. Well, I mean, I might as well, right? Just like
you have 8 fate, yeah.
Huh?
You have 8 fate, yeah.
I have 19 fate. Thank you.
I'm still looking at Avra's sheet. What am I doing?
Holy cow! I cannot believe that I only got 1. That is so swingy.
That's
That's
pretty bad.
literally insane. Oh my gosh. Okay, whatever. Wow. This is just going to be precedent for how the
Good
rest
luck.
of the thing is going to be. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean,
that's-
again, it's not that like Everett does or Maya doesn't do a good job singing per se. It's just that it actually just makes
People are on edge.
Yeah, it's not the right time for a wedding. And honestly, I don't think it is, right? Like trying to make this into more than it is probably not a good idea. So yeah, this is gonna make it harder for Joser.
So sorry, Joser.
Would anyone else like to add to this situation here?
I think that's the worst I've ever rolled. 10 dice and 1 success.
I don't know. You did get like 19 dice and 4 successes once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend like this doesn't upset me right now.
Well, both Alpheus and Aver aren't here, so there you go. There's Carly. Would you want to roll anything, Avra, as a link test leading up to the wedding? Is there any skill you'd want to
what might be relevant?
bring in here?
Well, I do have romance wise.
That's true. At the very least, you could give that as a help die to Joser, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you or Celadon, probably, if you guys wanted to do your vows in some sort of like oratory fashion, right? We could do an oratory thing here. But I mean, also none of these have to be linked tests per se. They can just be help dice. I think it makes sense that we did a sing for Maya instead of a help die in that situation. But up to you.
Yeah, I don't know if Avra is the like lengthy vows type person.
Yeah. You also don't have a belief about this, so
yeah. So I'd probably just help.
Sure. Yeah, I think we just have Joser make the roll now. Those are Joser and Maya are the only two who had beliefs about this, so makes sense. We just keep playing along.
This is the only thing that made sense for I want a relationship with my sister, so.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, ritual.
Yeah. I mean, Joser's going to start off with whether beforehand or at the actual thing, he'll actually pray to bless the marriage, and give himself some extra dice because why not?
Yes, of course.
In fact, I should bring up Thalia's
Praying with
sheet.
the groom while we're waiting for Aver to come in. Yeah, so we'll end up being an ob 4 for the wedding altogether with the increased ob.
Absolutely. 2 and so 4. Yeah, definitely giving myself some helper dice there.
Oh my gosh.
I hate you a little bit right now, Josh.
He had 9 dice and he rolled 11 successes.
It's a bit ridiculous.
It's just not fair.
Ridiculous amount of successes.
All I wanted to do was sing for my sister, and you just pray, and things are great. It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
Whatever.
I should have made that an ob 10 miracle to make the singing work instead, but I didn't.
It wouldn't have been an ob 10 miracle.
Minor miracle then. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's wild is Joser literally could have just rolled to like save Sinia. And he would have succeeded. But instead he was praying before a wedding.
Of course. Some things are more important than saving.
Everyone might die, but at least Aver got a good wedding.
So yes, it's a ritual test, of course. For helps, I was thinking a bunch of them actually. Because this is going to be like a Sinian wedding, and especially the like marrying into the royal line, there's probably some niche vows and special things that need to be actually put in place. So, I mean, Thalia can probably fork in obscure history
Yeah, sure.
for this. She's like the first queen that was married into the royal line, so she probably has some idea. I was thinking oratory for making the speech part of it. Do we want to go bureaucracy for filing the proper paperwork, getting marriage license for you Americans?
No, because you're
Nope.
literally just on a ship.
Fair enough. Anticipation wise, of course.
Sure, yeah. It pretty much just counts for everything.
Yeah. Thankfully.
No, you know what? No. Joe, sir, I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you anticipation wise.
Wow.
I think we're going to not
Right.
make
I
it the
anticipated
everything
needing a ritual and I don't get anticipation wise. Goodness.
No.
Let's see. Where is it?
Because like before this, I mean, I don't think you didn't anticipate this wedding, right? As being necessary for anything. This is kind of sprung on you last second. So
yeah. Would like a rule of law and possibly religious history apply?
Rule of law, yes, I think.
Yep.
Not religious history, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone's religious in Sinia, but that's not a particularly religious ceremony.
Yeah, I was more thinking in reference to like the prophet king thing.
Yeah,
whether that would affect.
Not enough. I mean, like doctrine maybe, but not like religious history.
Yep. Well, I'll add in astrology and doctrine. I get 2 dice for astrology. Yay, that's fun. And then would city-wise help me in terms of, because it is specifically a prophet king Sinia reference wedding, or do you want to just go more generic?
Sorry, what is that you have?
City-wise.
City-wise, no, I don't think so. Yeah,
Yep. All good. Let's see. I think
close,
that's all
but
we need to bother with.
like you could have done like a link test with city-wise based on that, but yeah, not a straight.
Base obstacle 4. I'm not going to spend any alpha because if I'm going to get 1 success, like Maya.
Oh well, so
if
you hadn't added anything, I think at the very least, Caledon will give you some oratory dice because he has to do his vows. So that's 2 from him.
Okay. And then Avra was giving me help, correct?
Oh yes, Avra's helping you with romance wise.
Okay, cool.
Which means you actually get to mark an Ob 4 test for romance wise, Avra.
Nice.
I always forget that that's a thing you do.
Yep. So 3, 5, 6.
What would an Ob 4 test be?
I believe it's 11.
What's your romance wise at?
2.
Then it's a challenging. All right. Ritual time. Oh no. What?
Yeah, well, let's spend some fate on trying to get this wedding to go.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 successes.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure what failure looks like here. Oh, there you go.
Okay, all right, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible like you got interrupted or something, or maybe you like said the wrong words, and so it's not going to count when you actually get there or something. I suppose
right, and then they're gonna have to get Ben and be like, "Nope, sorry, we need him after."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I think that's probably what the failure would have been. Is like Joser just didn't think through one like minute, like really important point of like etiquette or obscure history about this, and like it wasn't valid. Okay, but you succeeded.
We have to break into the archives to put the proper paperwork in place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, gotta get that bureaucracy help to finally make it work.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Your wedding is lovely, Avra, and official. I don't know if anyone else would like to describe anything about the wedding. We could also just move on. Up to you guys.
I'd like to think that my singing is not bad, right? It's just that it's just really, really tense. But then the moment that Celadon starts saying his vows, everybody just kind of like sinks into it, and they're like, "Aw, that's like really sweet," and then it goes off without a hitch.
What's
right?
hilarious is if Joser would have failed that, it would have been because of your singing roll. That'd have been terrible. All right, cool. So a couple of things need to happen here. First off, Spiridon needs to make a strategy roll. Yes.
Also, I would love to get I'd like Mayri to see about redeeming Nakaya so we can do the animal thing later on.
Do what with the animal thing exactly?
I basically I want to get to the point when we unlock the death thing, then all like the good souls that have been trapped on the other side can take on animal forms to assist.
Given the cosmology, that won't work. Only the Tannerin and the Malavim have the ability to like change their form like that. So you could have a big ghost army show up, but they wouldn't like have any particular form to them. They would be either they would just be resurrected, right? Like they would just come back to the light side of the planet. Because like the whole idea, right, was that the dark side of the planet is trapping all the souls there. But the special characteristics of the Tannerin themselves are what's making it possible to make that deal with Nakaya and then to come as animals. Whereas I don't think a normal person could just become an animal and do that. We could probably go down some rabbit hole and make a bunch of magic-related rolls to make it happen, but it's not an automatic thing that Joser would be like, oh yeah, we could do that.
But either way, I just kind of want.
But in general,
Mayri to
calling on them,
at least someone else. Yeah.
Yep, makes sense. Cool. Yes. I guess the question would be then, because I think the idea is that the Malavim also, that your Ambara also have that thing kind of happening to them. They would be caught in the planet's weirdness, except that you as their master are providing them a form in the form of these like phoenix bird things, or the singing eagles or whatever they take the shape as. Whereas if they didn't have that pact with you, they would be something else. So they would like maybe be a rock golem or something, a good version of that or something, right? And be trapped on the light side, maybe. You don't know exactly.
But essentially, Joseph would like her to try and redeem at least one other person.
That's why I brought it up, because for a second there I was like, oh, what if I guess it's possible we redeem a particular god and then they make a pact with your birds and they can be something else. But I think that's what you're already doing. I think that was the point I was making. Anyway, okay, so a couple of things need to happen here. Yeah, we can do that for Mayri. We can make a roll there. I just want to make sure I'm checking all my notes here and making sure. Actually, you know what? This is actually a scene I meant to start off with, but we'll see it now. We do see a scene of, let's see, we see white hallways, a kind of shimmery, ghostly, not ghostly, but ethereal sort of. I'm thinking like, any sci-fi space station or any the sort of sci-fi where everything is like super bright white. All the hallways are like this kind of like hospital sterile white is what this kind of looks like. And we kind of the camera kind of turns into what maybe looks like a med bay or something, right? This is all looking very sci-fi to us, which is like maybe a little jarring, given Death and the Madness aesthetic so far. And we see a couple of people around Citus. Citus is like sitting on this like bed, sort of cot, sci-fi looking thing, medical cot. And, is in bandages and whatnot, and is surrounded by a couple of people in various colored cloaks. And one of them we recognize as I don't know if we recognize his name per se in this campaign, but man played by Ewan McGregor wearing a red cloak. And he's saying to Citus, something changed. We were gathering up a force to land on Arcadia, and suddenly the entire sector went dark. We can't reach it. Azimuth isn't letting us reach it. The portal isn't opening. And Citus just sighs, and another person in a cloak says, Citus, you know more about this than any of us. What does that mean? And Citus says, it means we might be too late. And then we just cut away from that, and we get some rolls. So do you have a preference then, Joser, as to which god gets redeemed next?
Yes, I was looking.
Because I think Nikaya is certainly going to be on the table, but that's probably going to be like the climactic moment for Ophelia, at least, right? Is that confrontation with Nikaya herself? I don't know if that happens now necessarily.
I was thinking probably Nubite.
Yeah, that was actually literally who I was thinking. Yeah. Goddess of healing and medicine. That sounds helpful. Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's just make that roll now. And this is what? What did I give Myri? Some faith dice.
Yeah, she had 6 gray.
She had 6 gray. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And then myself, Thalia, and I presume Pyrus at this point, because we're all together.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you all put your heads together in the last hours before the invasion. So that's another 6.
Yep.
And then I think Ophelia's helping her too, right? Is that what we said? Or is Ophelia...
Probably.
What's Ophelia doing right now?
She could probably help.
Yeah. Because this is the question. Ophelia has faith in dead gods. I don't know if you can really use it against them.
True. Yeah. I don't think she helped last time. So
yeah, that's.
Perhaps there's something where she regains some form of faith, but yeah,
I don't think she has yet. So I guess for now, I don't think she's a part of this role. I'll probably make her more important with the Nicaea stuff, but okay, cool. So this needs to be what Ob10 is the same thing, or is the miracle level has to...
Yeah, unless we want an additional role for them to try and get contact with the father, which generally they probably seem unwilling at this time. So I think it's just straight redemption of 10.
Yes. Okay. All right, here we go. Only 6. I mean, Myri has accomplished things, so she can at least have a fate. Unlikely that will matter, but we can do it anyway. So, yeah, she got 1 success, but no cigar. So, yeah, I mean, like, I think in general at this point, there's just a war happening on the dark side of the planet, right? There's a bunch of Embara flying around and souls that have, like, joined forces with Calafina and Myri to kind of fight against what's happening on the dark side of the planet. But this just means that I think maybe New Bite just dies. Like, dies. Right? Like gets destroyed somehow in what's happening here. Maybe there is a death that happens after going to the dark side. Or at the very least, she's like taken out of, like, I think something happens here where like there's a fight and there's an attempt at redeeming her and it fails. So I think that their next best thing is like at the very least, Calafina maybe like immobilizes her with her like fiery arrows or something. As they have her a prisoner, or she's like in a comatose state or something like that. We see an arrow, like a fiery arrow, go through her chest and like she falls over. In this like montage we're getting. But yeah, the war rages on. But no additional gains to the Pantheon as of yet. So okay. Let's make a roll for Spirit on, shall we? Let's see how this goes. Spiridon is making a strategy roll. And the question is, what are the odds for strategy? Let's see. Strategy and versus tests between commanders, or use the following. Yeah, plan of attack is probably what he's doing, right? It's just an ob 4. He doesn't need to do a plan of campaign, right? So yeah, I think it's an ob 4 strategy test. He can fork in campaign history, command, soldier-wise, strategy games, and tactics. And I think that's it. Here we go. There we go. That's all I needed. 5 successes. So the attack's going to go off without a hitch. The plan was go to storm the merchant district over here, number 3, and secure an area. I think the idea was your prophecy had shown them that there's a good place to ambush, to set up an ambush for a good portion of Cyrillus' forces there. So they're going to attack, probably make a fake retreat, let the maddened soldiers follow them, and then spring a trap at some point in the district, and then in theory wipe them out, which I think happens given the 5 in strategy. I don't think we necessarily need to roll. There's not a player character involved in, or even an important NPC involved in the actual like on the ground fighting. So I think it goes off without a hitch. And yeah, I guess we just see a montage of that, right? We just see fighting in the streets of Sinia. The boats pull up to the harbor. It's probably eerily silent when they do. There's no opposition to them coming up to the harbor, right? And even if there was, like, Pyrrhus could probably handle it. So, they don't even try. Because that's kind of his domain. And then troops spill out, right? So we see some of Spiridon's honor guard, his Kyries and soldiers, but mostly we see Neiman mercenaries, Setkessian mercenaries, and any militia that have been gathered together from Sinian exile, right? And they storm the beaches of Sinia and make their way into the merchant district, follow out their strategy, and ambush Cyrillus' forces. So we see a maddened group of what look like a lot of just like old Sinian military guys, right? Who have been fallen under Cyrillus' sway. Right, he was like the royal guard guy, and he's kind of gotten the whole anything that remains of the Sinian military has been converted into this madness cult, and it is a terrifying sight to behold. And honestly, Spiridon's immense strategy is the only thing that really makes this work, because without his like keen understanding of morale and when to like how to lead his men in such a way that would make their morale not break. That's the only thing that makes this happen, because otherwise these are terrifying individuals. This mob of maddened soldiers is absolutely horrifying to behold, because they start eating people as soon as they kill them, right? So it's horrible cannibal soldiers, and they do a number on Spiridon's men for sure. But yeah, we see this happen, and then an ambush happens, and then the remainder that managed to survive that battle, and there's probably other soldiers, other places in the city. Cyrillus didn't send all of his people here. So any soldiers that remain from this battle here kind of escape into other part of the city, and Spiridon's troops secure the merchant district. And we see Maya, Ben, Kalik, and Knossos. I think Gavril is with you too, just because he's your friend and he's not going to do much in terms of fighting, but he's not a fighter either, so he's just going to stick with you for now. Him and his wife is probably back on the ship in the harbor, but he wants to be closer to the action. Or honestly, his wife is probably still in Setkis. I probably just left her there. She had like a baby, so And yeah, so we see all of that happen. Maya can get set up there, but I think the idea, right, was that Joser and crew were going to use that as a distraction to make a beeline for the palace. So I think that's happening during
Indeed,
this
yeah.
time. So as a final head count, yeah.
Real quick, I do have a belief about wanting to, like, while the initial battle is like happening and I reunite with Malekith and everything, we're like,
Right.
you better not die out there, I swear to God.
Mhm.
I want to like see if I could circle up somebody to like be his like personal bodyguard while he like
Sure.
goes.
Yep. Makes sense to me. Okay, so who do you need this person to be? You need
Well, they need to be a skilled fighter.
skilled fighter. Do you have soldier circles?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I just have religious for circles. That's pretty much it. Somebody who would be a believer in Pyrrhus would be a plus because they're really going to go all out for him.
Yeah, religious circles, you could go for military order.
That's true. Yeah, like a holy warrior,
Yeah.
of some sort.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that would be same setting that you have, and then you need this person to be like devoted to Pyrrhus specifically. Is that what you want?
I mean, I just thought that would give them some motivation to actually protect him and not,
So if you just wanted it to be a person from the military order who you could circles, and then you would have to like persuade to do this, that's an ob 3. If you add devoted to Pyrrhus or is amenable to this already in some other way, that's an ob 4.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want somebody who's like already going to fight, but I just like specifically want them to like just say like, hey, like, he's Pyrrhus, like you should protect him.
You want this circles test to be the test that makes him
Right.
the bodyguard. Yeah, not a preliminary test. Okay.
Right.
So that's an ob 4.
Okay. Can I use any of my reputation, like of the King's Blood, or any of my affiliations with nobility in this?
If it's like devoted to Pyrrhus, it probably would have to be those, right? Because this would have to be a Sinian, more than likely. So let's go with the King's Blood. I don't think this person is nobility themselves, but I think King's Blood makes sense.
All right, so I can add that in. And then
I suppose you could make them nobility and make it an ob 5 test, but that would kind of cancel out your...
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. Okay, so I'll add that. And then I'll go ahead and throw in
another persona.
2 persona in that.
Okay.
I care about my husband, like just
Fair
because
enough.
I'm like good with the father doesn't mean
The
I'm
question
just
is,
gonna,
do you
like...
care about your son? Because
I still have 4 persona after this, so
oh right, I was looking at Avra's character sheet where she had like 3 left. Okay, yeah.
No. I'm good. I'm Gucci.
All right.
It's all good. Okay, all right. So I am taking that 2 persona. Let's hope this goes better than my last roll.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Close.
All right. I'll throw in 2 fate for that.
Yep,
I believe. I want to believe. To believe. Yes, and it happened.
Nice. Yeah, 2 successes even.
Well, yeah, I rolled 2 dice, so
right,
because I had a 6 in there, so I rolled 2.
Okay, yeah. This is the question, I suppose. The first question would be, do we have a character who already fits this? If not, I would say we probably just hand wave who this person is and they exist and have skills.
Yeah, I don't care about naming them. That's fine.
Okay.
I just want somebody.
I'm glancing through the character list real quick here just to make sure there isn't someone who already fits the bill. But
can we make that Weather Witch an awesome fighter as well, for the fun of it?
I don't think so. Like I don't know if the life path would make sense on that. When you really get down to it. She's also like 65 or something. I just don't think that makes sense.
We call that experience.
Yeah. We call that you don't have the body, the bone density to actually fight in a combat. Yeah, I don't think. The funny part of this is if Cyrillus had gone another path, this could have been him for sure.
Right.
Because he was like a sailor to start off with. But no, it was not meant to be. Yeah, I don't see anyone.
I don't think so. And again, I don't care about naming them. It's possibly one of our last sessions. I just, just for good measure.
There's some more dice, to throw in front of enemies that might want to kill Malekith. So
Yes, exactly.
sounds good. All right. So the question is, what is the plan for getting to the palace? There will be a distraction, right? Yeah. So it's just trying to be sneaky then.
Yeah. So I was thinking blessing Thalia, and Thalia has stealth, so she can
Okay.
push us through.
So I think there would have to be a faith roll to like let her stealth apply to everybody else, right? Because like Thalia can sneak by herself, no problem. But like it would be probably maybe a minor miracle or something to do like her stealth becomes everybody's stealth or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check and make sure there's not a different different thing that this would be besides minor miracle. Yeah, I mean it's either like minor miracle or guidance, which are both the same. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's intercession. So
yep.
All of 6 altogether.
Yep. Would I'm assuming Pyrus or Malekith will help us out.
Before we do this, let's actually get a final head count. Who is coming on this mission with you? So we got Joser, we got Thalia, we got Sadiq, we have Alpheus, we have Avra, and we have Keladon. And then you want to take Malekith then too, as part of the Faith Buddy squad?
I believe that was the plan, yeah.
Okay.
Have Malekith as Faith Buddy squad. And then we had a team of just like a small team, I believe.
Oh yeah,
like just like soldiers. Yeah, we had a squad of soldiers.
Let's see. Pyrus, Holy Order guy.
Mm-hmm.
Team of soldiers. And then wasn't there someone else? What do we have in the list here? Of characters. Kalik is staying with Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Sophocles decides to come. No.
Nice. Let's get him killed.
Yes. Okay. I think that's probably it. All right. For some reason I thought there was someone else, but I think that makes sense. All right. So that is our official Faith Buddy squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Ob 6.
Mm-hmm. Ob 6. Oops. Wrong thing. So 4 helps. No other. Ob 6.
Nice. Cool. Yep. So Thalia is able to divinely use her stealth. And honestly, I think the stealth takes, as she's getting in touch with her goddess nature again, I think her stealth here is taking on the form less of like being a sneaky woodswoman, and more towards just walking through the city, but having like an aura of peace around her, where she's a goddess of peace. No one's going to attack her. Even if someone does see her, they just like kind of forget she's there and walk away, right? That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
But yeah, if you want to give her some dice.
Yeah,
I think she'll still have to make the roll. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
This would be against whatever. Let's check who would be in the city here. That would be watching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why doesn't this person have observation? No one has observation. No one ever has observation. Is there literally anyone who would have observation who would be in this city? That's the question. Do.
Yeah, Joseph will fork in like streetwise or something to give her an extra die.
Mm-hmm. It's just so unfortunate. But I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess like it makes sense that this is a city full of mad people. They're probably not paying that much attention. Okay, I'll just make this being learned roll here, I guess. And I guess this person will get some advantages for multiple people that are like could possibly watch this, but it's still or be on the lookout as well. But it's still going to be probably not enough to get over hers. So 5 successes, which is pretty good, but it's going to be like 2.5, right? I will have this person who I'm keeping secret currently spend some fate. They got a lot of 6s, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so total of 4 for Thalia, given the having that is done here. Nice. Here we go. Yep, so it happens exactly as I described. You guys are walking through the city, being all sneaky-like. And you make your way to the palace. So I want to make sure we're taking this step at a time and giving everybody a chance, including myself, a chance to do the things that need to happen in the proper order in which they need to happen. Here's a question for you, Carly, if you have a moment, maybe you could chime in. When would Aura attempt to get Alikos back?
I mean, my expectation was just that he was going to show up at some point during this, but Abra didn't specifically know when. She just knew that he was coming.
Yes. What is your belief about this again? Yes. Okay. I will use my Falconry Seals to give us the upper hand in this battle. So there wasn't necessarily a role for... We know he was going to show up eventually. It was just going to take some time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, we have
me eventually making a Falconry roll to actually use him.
Actually use him. Okay. How do we want to do that? Should I just like we just wait until a pseudolly dramatic moment? Should we like roll a die of fate and like anytime you might want him to show up?
I'm fine with whatever. I am going to need to put Finn to bed in a couple of minutes here, so
yeah, and that's fine. I wasn't necessarily saying we need to do a bunch of Aliko stuff right now. I just want to make sure if you wanted to have him when I thought there was going to be a roll. Yeah, we'll just keep it on the back burner for now. We can have him show up if he needs to for a suitably dramatic moment. Let's take a look at this stuff here. So you were going to, Joser, just you've gotten to the palace at this point, right? And you need to get Celadon to sit on the throne, basically, right? And then you can do what? Like, what is walk me through the actual steps here that need to be done. And I can add steps if I think there need to be any.
Yeah, so part of it was that we need a rightful king on the throne of Sinia.
Yep.
It's like one of those like random prophecy things or like rituals that you need. So you need a rightful king on the throne of Sinia.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
the country's in great need
test,
and stuff like that.
I think making a ritual test for that too, like for his official coronation, is probably a thing that needs to happen. It can be quick, right? But I think that might be a fun role to make. Because just having him sit on the throne isn't necessarily actually fulfilling the prophecy the way that it's supposed to be. We've already described, based on the fact that you had to make a ritual roll for the wedding, I think we should continue that line and be like, everything needs to be official for this to work. So yeah. So if you're if there's like a battle happening, it might be intense, but yeah, there needs to be some sort of quick coordination at least.
Mm-hmm. What I'll be looking at.
I don't know yet. I think we can figure that out when we get there. I don't think you just reach the throne, because I mean, if you do, there's just people are going to be there, right? Okay, so what else then? I'm just walk me through the steps here, and we can figure out like what are the obstacles in your path, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking. So yeah, put him on the throne, and then where's my? Oop, I just accidentally left Roll20. That wasn't intentional. Yeah, and then I was thinking some form of possibly astrology role to like understand the frequency of like the madness and that kind of the dark side, and then the miracle to essentially just purge that frequency from the surrounding area.
From Sinia, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So you get to the palace with that stealth roll, no problem. The issue at that point is it is like just surrounded. So even though like Ompt has like magical stealth and things, like I think there will still need to be something else that happens here. You can't just walk in. Like especially once you get there, you realize like maybe it's not Cyrillus who's planned for this, but Zoe certainly has. And you know, the palace is, it's not like, you know, surrounded by guards per se, but it's still tighter than just walking through the city. What would be the general plan to like get into the palace in a particular way? Because there might be some other distraction that needs to happen, especially because like this takes a little bit of time, and like there were soldiers retreating from the merchant district, probably back towards the palace. You might have to cause another distraction here. Maybe like send some of your soldiers to die or something. Depending. Because like you get to the palace, right? And like there's the big steps and there's just a bunch of guards, right? You're muted if you're.
I kind of want to do something fun for the lols. Can I try and get in?
Or, you know, to progress
I would
the plot?
I would like to make a call. I would like to make a call to the Almighty Gorgas.
Oh, okay, yeah. Phone a friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to phone a friend.
Joser reaches the palace and sees a multiple choice question pop up before him, and he knows the only way to get into his palace is to choose the right answer, and he doesn't know the answer.
Yep. So just based obstacle 6.
Yeah, to get in touch with another god.
Yep. Cool.
Regularly rolling 11 successes. That's fine.
Yep. Hello, Almighty Gorgas.
Huh? Who is this? Why are you in my head?
This is your brother, Hagiel. Just checking in. Wanted to talk to you about some rumors I've been hearing.
I thought you were dead.
Oh, many did. Many did. Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated.
A pity.
Well, I wished. Well, you see, I've been chatting with some people, and I've arrived in this in Sinia, and it turns out that this guy named Titan is here. He seems to be, he seems very disgruntled at the fact that you have fired him, and he is telling all his friends here that you have taken up cowardice as a hobby. I was just wondering if this doesn't sound like you, so I was just wanting to check in and see whether you are doing okay. He says you are eating grapes and doing nothing.
I think
Days of the Almighty Gorgas are over, he says.
So I assume your intent here is to like inspire him to action. What action would you like him to take?
Would you like the opportunity to prove him completely and utterly wrong?
What do you have in mind, Hagiel?
I could
I'm very
arrange
comfortable here.
transport. I could arrange transport for you to turn up. I have some soldiers you could lead around if you want. I'd say just, trounce a few people and then we'll send you back again. It's
Why
more
should
of
I
an
help
impression.
you?
Oh, well, it's more about your helping you than it is about me. I just don't, I don't like Titan. He seems like an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a persuasion test.
Mm-hmm.
If you have falsehood, you're definitely
falsehood?
forking it in. Yeah.
Can I just make it falsehood?
You can do falsehood instead. Yeah, that was my first inclination, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So falsehood. Let's see how many things. I'm also told that when he is done here, he intends to come and make sure your soul never progresses. Ends completely. They're all about the killing of God's souls over here. Let's see. Can I get suasion as a fork for that?
I don't think he cares. That's part of the thing. I guess he does because he's a god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
If Gorgas was an actual person, he would if he was just a human, he definitely wouldn't care. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Etiquette for calling him Almighty Gorgas.
Yes. You've sufficiently flattered him.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Astrology, of course. And I do have that instinct, so I might quickly make a test to see if I can get some extra dice. Yep. So 4. Just 2 extra dice. Yep. Actually, I need to spend fate in it anyway, so I'll quickly spend a whole 1 fate for the fun of it. Yep, cool.
Oof.
And there, sweet. Yep, and then what's the ob?
Good question. Let's go with
I think
8.
his will was 5 last time, but yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. When he was Gorgas,
I wasn't talking to you,
5.
Carl.
Oh,
You good?
I thought I heard you say Carl, so.
No. I think we'll do 7 then. I was going to do
Mhm.
+2 from his regular will.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not that invested. I'll just stick with that, and then 7 ob.
Nice. That's a good roll.
Mm.
Yeah. I think he says, I've always hated you, Hagiel, you conniving little freak. And then he just pulls on the tether that you're offering to him, right? But I think that's probably a roll 2, right? Is to do the magical transportation, right?
Yep.
So I think that's intercession, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's plucking it.
plucking. Some plucking is happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Failed a roll.
What's that ob for?
Too much green.
Come on, we had 2 terrible rolls at the start of the session.
Yeah, just saying.
I don't think Joser's ever failed a roll.
Hey,
I
don't put poo on
definitely
my
have.
thing, please. It was important to me.
I've definitely failed a couple of. I mean, I failed that one.
He like
faith roll
fails
to
and then
protect
he
the
Yeah, I was
doesn't
god
gonna
one.
say,
praise.
he failed and let a god die once, so there is that.
No,
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty dramatic.
inconsequential. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. You know, the sad thing about this is if this is successful. No, I'll tell you that later when it actually happens, or if it actually happens. Okay. So I've got 4 helps. And I'm going to put a couple persona in it. Actually, just one. Just one persona. Base obstacle is 9.
Yep. Come on. Still 11 successes? What is wrong with you? You're a monster.
Yep.
That
And
was
then
difficult too.
And Josa looks over at Thalia and says, "This is terrible. You're closer to becoming a god than I am." As she becomes 8 faith.
Nice. Oh yeah, what has
And Josa
Malekith been
doesn't.
getting here?
Whatever he likes, really. Definitely some.
Yeah, I haven't been
Like
marking
my
his help
average
at all.
Yeah, I mean he's difficult. He's probably gotten all difficults because whenever I do a 6, that'd be a difficult for him. So it's just whether there are any higher obs ones that we've done with his help. Which
I think.
see.
Yeah, I think he has he has all of his difficulties marked, and he has 1 challenging from this 9 that he just helped with, and so 1 more challenging, and he upgrades his faith. I think.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess, Gorgas / Aratos just appears as the god of war, red eyes glowing, ready to fight. And I assume you're giving him your squad of soldiers. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, except for
so-
the bodyguard one because we don't want to send.
No, of course,
Ruben
yes.
Setzer.
I
That
mean,
was his
and what
name.
probably
Yeah.
is true is that this squad of soldiers was like some of Spiridon's honor guard, right? Some of the Kyrodesians, right? Because that makes thematic sense for this moment. And he just turns to like the Kyrodesian soldiers and he just says, "You stand before your god. If you follow me into hell today, we will be in glory tomorrow." And then charges. Cool. Yeah. So I'll make a roll for them and see how it goes. I'll just say let's just do 20 dice altogether with all the things that, including these elite soldiers and all of his forks and probably a very high sword skill. And we'll do a versus test here to see if they succeed. 21 successes. He would have spent fate, which is why I automatically open-ended it. And then we'll see what the Madden soldiers can marshal. Probably not that much. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forks, and then probably how many soldiers are here? I think it's like 20 soldiers, but like they're going to be rolling black instead of gray shaded. So we'll see how this goes. They need to get an op 21. Nope. They got 15, but not a 21. And they don't have fate because they're random soldiers. So, I mean, these are impossible odds that Aratos is dealing with, right? But he's the god of war, so of course, he and his squad of like 5 soldiers like somehow take out like the entire. And like this is taking a while, so you guys probably just move past them, right? And don't see the final bit of the battle, but they're wading in blood by the time you get inside the palace. Cool. Yeah. So I think let's cut over briefly to Maya and crew. So there's a counterattack that happens, right? And unfortunately, the counterattack, I think we see a certain Kessian mercenary has joined the side of Cyrillus. And not only do more Madden soldiers attack, but also like a big zombie horde. And so this is going to be a fun fight for everybody involved. Let me see if I can find. It is a advanced Night Hunter, I think, that is leading this charge. So let's do. This has been Rat-Ket-Zaw's finest work is at the forefront of this little invasion, this little counterattack. So I don't know. I think let's think this through. This isn't Spiridon like planning an attack. This is him responding to a counterattack. Should he roll strategy, or should I just roll for his soldiers and see? Or should I like have him roll strategy against someone else's something? I think I'll just.
Would it be potentially like just the soldiers fighting, but maybe a link test or a help die for strategy?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. And honestly, Spiridon is probably fighting too, so he can probably just be the person making the roll.
I don't know. Like, I mean, whichever one it really is better in our favor, that sounds good, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll have Spiridon be the guy who's leading the roll, and can fork in all the things and get all the help dice from all the soldiers. But it will be like a fight roll, like a sword roll or whatever that's happening here. Okay, so let's think this through. There's a lot of dice being thrown around here. I don't know if I want to like actually give like hundreds of dice. It's probably not hundreds, but because I think this zombie is going to have a pretty high savage attack as the skill. It's being rolled here, and then plus not so much forks as just a bunch of like a big horde behind them. I don't really know how to do these calculations. Let's look at the soldiers. Royal Guard, what do they have? Okay, they have a 4 as their highest. So that means I'd be adding just 1 for each of them, and then there'd be a couple of zombies that would give 2 for like powerful attacks. So let's do. I guess really the really thing that matters here is they probably have similar sizes of armies, so it's probably just whatever the forks and stuff are that really matters as to like what the difference is. So let's do 10. Let's do. I'm gonna make this a smaller die pool and not add in like the 50 soldiers that each side has. Just do like any of the more immediately relevant special stuff. So I think this is 15d6 that the zombies are rolling. I only got 8 successes. The zombie is a weird hatred zombie that it will be very clear why this thing has fate in a second here. But we'll go ahead and roll that. And we'll see how well that goes. Okay, only 2 more successes. So up 10. And then Spiridon is going to roll. I'm trying to think if there's any other like special people that would be helping Spiridon besides like just his mass of soldiers. So he has. He actually has a better spear than sword. So he'll fork in brawling command, intimidation, knives, soldier-wise, strategy games, sword, and tactics. So he has 9. And I don't know if there's like any named NPCs that he has in his squad right now, because all the ones that aren't with you, Joser, are with Maya. and they're holed up, like you're just protecting Ben. So I think this is all the dice he's rolling, unfortunately. Unless you can think of anything else. Yeah, I don't think there's any other important people here. So, okay. Good luck, Spiridon. Hopefully you can get an op 10. Wow, he really cannot. That was really bad. That had no right to be that bad. Okay. At least a couple more successes than that, but he got a difficult spirit
Wow,
test.
he didn't even roll any sixes.
Nope. I mean, I suppose he has one fade, and this might be him dying, so I guess I'll roll that. Remaining op of 7. Yeah, he got one success. He got a 6 and a 3. That'd been nice. All right, so 4 against 10. That still is like the highest damage that this thing can do. Which I think is going to be it looks like a B8 wound for Spiridon. Let's see if he can take that. And in theory, all of his soldiers get this too. Okay, so he has a traumatic wound, which means I believe he goes unconscious. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think, like, all of the soldiers die or anything, but it's certainly, like, very bad. And the main thing that happens here is, like, Spiridon gets wounded, probably gets dragged away by some of his soldiers, and then there's a break in the line. And one zombie in particular happens to stand out from the crowd here, and we see a terrifying version of Ophelia. Ophelia's body has been supercharged with hatred magic and made into a weird, horrible zombie monstrosity. Her spines, she's like a weird, like, double-jointed spider that is, like, shooting out spines at various soldiers, right? Gets Spiridon with this giant black spine right in his chest, and he has to, like, pull it out himself, and then he, like, goes unconscious from the pain, and his soldiers, like, drag him away. And this horrible zombie, like, starts crawling up the manor wall that Maya and Ben and all of them are in. And, yeah, we cut back to Joser and crew. So this horrible version of Ophelia is coming to get Ben. And
so would Ophelia even be able to come back to life?
You don't know. Joser would probably have to, like, purify the zombie body first.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's happening. Joser, you guys are in the palace now. You can make it to the throne room. You are met by a group of people there, obviously. So Joser and Buddy Crew, you show up in the big throne room, right? This is where Thestios sat and Ophelia sat, and now Cyrillus sits on the throne of Sinia. Jagged hole in his neck. Spear. The spear looks different. The spear is like glistening black, I think I described the spear. And he is sitting there with some of his, like, most trusted soldiers. Zoe is behind his shoulder, doing the classic worm tongue pose. And yeah, I mean, it's certainly a standoff. Whether or not Zoe knew all of the extents of your plan, Surash getting access to the Irida through Avra has, like, tipped them off to at least some things. And so they at least know they should be here to stop you from whatever you're going to do. And so they're waiting. I think that's all who's in the room, though. Let me double check my list of characters here. You probably do see Althea and Perrin, right? The remnants of the Nakaim cult kind of in the corner as well, like chanting softly because they've kind of, like, gone onto the hatred train too, and they're ready for death to happen, death and madness to happen. Here's a question. Does anyone in the party have observation? There's a person who's going to make a stealth roll here, but I don't know if anyone has that skill.
Friggin' Titan.
Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah. Typical Caleb. We do a thing so that Ben will have a dagger for Titan, and he decides not to do Titan.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about this before you even did that. There's a particular thing that I thought of that I think is really cool. That's I'm going to try to pull off here, and we'll see. Because I thought about it. I mean, it makes sense that Titan might have tried this, but also given his, there's something else.
Dang it, man. I had like a whole speech prepared to give to this guy.
I know.
I'm not going to be able to convince a zombie to like leave us alone.
I know.
It's like... Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the story beat, but fine.
This is the thing. This is the darkest note of the soul, my friends. We gotta get some plans that didn't work out the way that they should have, right? Okay. So, does anyone have observation? We know.
Does Malekith? I feel like
I don't know. If you gave me my bodyguard observation or not.
I don't know. Let's check. He may have it. He does not. He was like a religious warrior. His main thing. There are very few life paths that give observation as a skill. Yeah, none of you have it. I don't think Celadon. There'd be no reason for him to have it. Malekith doesn't have it. Sadiq doesn't have it. Yeah, I think it would just be whoever has the highest perception is going to make a be learned. I don't know who has the highest perception. Is that Joser? It's probably Joser.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, cool. I think just 3 forks for this. If he rolls badly, there's actually a pretty good chance you could make this. I guess I'll add a couple of Artha dice, but he only has so many. All right, Ob 5, yeah. This might be... At the very least, Joser will probably likely not notice in the immediate, but he might be able to do a faith thing to do something later. But yeah, so Ob 5 in your being learned observation there. We'll see how it goes. That's a pretty good roll, all things considered. I assume you're not going to try for a 1 in a million with the fate? Yeah. Okay, so Cyrillus basically just says, did you really think you were just going to walk in and steal my throne from me? After everything I did to earn it?
I'm afraid I would prefer some peace and quiet at this time. Everybody scram. Lord, Father, give us the peace and quiet to actually get things done. And I'm just going to try a miracle to purge everybody that's not us. Just breed them out. Like Venissimo them to like the edge of the town or something.
If I have like Althea and Perrin like pray against you, up to you, Josh. I'm not gonna like make up new rules here, but would it be okay if I did like the opposite of aid and just try to do like the, Ob 4 they give you +1 Ob 5 they give you +2. Okay, as long as you're okay with that. So this is probably not gonna go super well. I guess they have a couple of priests with them, but like it's not gonna be that many dice. All right, here we go. Whoa, hey, they did it. All right, +2 Ob.
Okay, so faith with 4 helps on my buddies. And then I'll put 3 persona in it. Which I shall put in there now.
Mm-hmm. And you're doing which one are you doing again?
Ob 10 miracle.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Just get everyone going.
Makes sense. This has to be the one you fail, right? Right?
And then base orb is 13.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, very close though.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to
11 out of 13.
now if I use a fate, then I can't use deeds later. Or can I do it in steps?
Fate is in like I see what you're saying. I think you can use it. I think it's fine. I don't think it matters that much. I think fate usually is first, and you have to decide whether or not you spend 1 or 2. Usually that's like the thing that really matters.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters too much beyond that.
I'll try the fate first then.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then we will do the regular. Rating orb 2,
One.
dice 1.
Nope.
I will spend my deeds then.
Nice. To just auto succeed basically.
Yep.
You just make those last 3 dice successes. Nice. Yeah, what does this look like? You're obviously getting like dark dead god magic pressing on you. You feel the force of Dardanus pressing on your mind, right? They're using everything they have, at least in the like a faith sense, to press on you and make you not be able to do this. Why does it work anyway?
If we could see a view of Dardanus up in his sun, and he kind of glances back as he sees the sun slightly dim. Ooh. Like the Hagel's sun slightly dim. Yeah. And then we reverse to show where Joser is, and all of a sudden Joser is the sun. As I am, at least for the time being, until the end of this purpose, I am white.
White shaded. White shaded faith, baby. Nice. Yeah, and we hear Dardanus just say, "This wasn't supposed to happen. We were supposed to know. He was supposed to." And here's my question for you, Josh. I don't want to. There's a thing that Titan was going to try to do here. Mm-hmm. You not knowing he's in the room, is it cheap for me to say he still gets to stick around since you're like looking at all the people and saying you all go away?
I'd say yes, it would be because I was specific about I only want us here. So it's not like I'm getting rid of specific people. I'm just saying we are the only people here.
Yes. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I was specific about my intent for that specific purpose.
I don't really know how this happens otherwise now because you just succeed. There's no one to stop you.
Wow, and Alpheus was getting ready to do the speech. He was like, "Cyrillus, stop it."
That was the thing I was wondering. I was hoping there'd be more to that scene than just like Joser faiths everyone away.
We could wrangle it where like he sends them to, like, we could arrange it for like Chad could be sent to like a spiritual realm with it because he's just like wiping them away from here for temporarily. So he could like they could have their chances to talk to one another, as Hagel just wants his peace and quiet.
Oh, you sent everyone away?
Except for the people he absolutely needs, and probably Thalia, because Thalia is right next to him. But yeah, so Thalia and Caledon, and
that's probably it, right?
Yeah, maybe Malekith, because we are Faith Buddy Squad, and you kind of need Faith Buddies.
Yes, except here. I think there's a couple of things that might happen here. First thing I want to do is I want to pause from here for a moment, and I want to make some rolls for the Coruzia stuff, right? I want to see how close the Tartuans actually are, right? Whether or not they're going to be on your doorstep as you're trying to finish the ritual, right? Because that might be the additional tension. So, because even if Surash was in Nima, like there were people there, like the entire border of the dark side was being like marched off
the golems were marching along it, and there's like there's a border for the dark side, like that's like directly east of Sinia. So there were like ones that were just marching directly here the whole time. So let's there's a couple of rolls that happen here. The first thing we see, and I'm going to try to do this in montage as quickly as possible, right? The first thing we see is Mahava, he who remembers, step into Karuzia. And no, he didn't step into Karuzia. He steps into a Jugati war camp. And he is surrounded by a couple of other Jugati priests of Indu. And he says, all the Jugati are like still mad and whatnot, being affected by all the craziness that's been happening with Dardanus, and they've cut themselves off from the gods, so they were easy pickings for Dardanus and Seraphim and all the other things that are going on. Mahavak shows up and basically says, "It is time, my brothers, that we rebuild the old monuments. You have been under the influence of the Fel for far too long." And he's going to try to just do miracle faith roll to purge the Jugati of their madness and make them whole again as a people, right? We're going to have him roll with a couple of priests helping him. Gray shaded faith. And the Ob is 10. Here we go. Okay, he got 7. And he is going to spend a fate on the off chance that this does what he needs to do. Nope. He's 2 successes away. He tries, right? And maybe this is just where we get some more Darkest Night of the Soul. I think Mahava tries this, and he realizes that, and for Alpheus or for Carly and Chad, as a reminder, or you guys weren't here when they did this session, Mahava is a Jagati guy that Joser and Maya talked to in a session we just did with them. Mahava, I guess, realizes that they're too far gone as a people. And I don't know what he does next. So his plan here was to, redeem the Jagati people, bring them to Karuzia and be like, we need to work together against this common enemy, which is the Tartuans who are coming at our, knocking on our doorstep. But I guess what happens is Mahava just fails. And I guess he just... I think what happens is I was describing him before as having a 9 gray shaded faith, and so he was like 1 step away from like ascending. I think we'll just say that difficult test was like the last test he needed, and he just basically says, and
he doesn't get it because faith requires a success.
Oh, you're right. Dang it. That would have been cool if he could just be like, okay, bye. But you're right. Yeah, I guess he just watches sadly as like his people don't go back to India. They fall into madness and chaos, and they get destroyed by the Tartuans, right? The Tartuans come in and just wipe them out. And so that obviously delays somewhat, but the Karuzzians have a little bit of time. They see there's scouts that tell them that these giant rock golems are on their way. And now we have a brave last stand from Isidore and his men to stave off these horrible monstrosities, and he's probably going to die. Mahava can show up and help, but like I don't know if there's a whole lot he can do. Like I guess he could try to miracle it all away, but I don't know. That's not interesting to me. I guess he'll just...
He could try like concentrate a area for them to fight from.
Yeah. Okay, he'll roll a couple of faith rolls here. First to consecrate, and that's a 6, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he needs 6. Well, where were that 18 successes when you needed them, huh?
So, I mean, with that, Karuzia might survive.
Yeah, I mean, I think Karuzia is probably going to survive this, no matter what. I guess the question would be then, so Mahava he does this, right? He consecrates Coruzia, he protects Coruzia as an island, pelted by the waves. The Tartuans will not be able to come here. And that's basically the last thing that he can do. He's Mahava's like, my people are dead. The least thing I can do is try to save someone, and these people have been fighting valiantly to survive in this horrible world. And he does it, and then Mahava turns to Isidore and basically says, if you don't do something here, if we don't try to do something together, Sinia's still dead, right? They're gonna march on Sinia, and I think you should still fight, right? And Mahava's gonna roll a persuasion roll, right, to try to convince Isidore you should still fight, and probably die to save a city that probably doesn't. You don't owe anything. And we'll see what happens here. Let's see, Isidore has a will of 4, but this is against his beliefs. He's only ever cared about Coruzia, so we'll bump it up to a 6. I don't think Mahava has a super high persuasion. It's decent. And he probably has some forks. So we'll go with this. It's not, I don't think it's gray shaded though. So he needs to get an ob 6. Well, actually first, let's do... Okay, he open-ends his persuasion, and he gives himself 3 dice. So we have this, and he needs to get 6. Hey, nice. Okay, so Mahava manages to convince Isidore, and Isidore's not about this, right? He basically just says I don't owe that city anything. They marked me for dead. I'm literally an outlaw of Sinia. I don't owe them any. Why would you ask this of me? And the people of Coruzia are also why would we fight for Sinia? And Mahava basically just says, you're right. You don't owe them anything. But that doesn't matter. Not in the least. What matters is that you do what is right, no matter the cost. Coruzia, consecrated as it is, will survive this, but its people will not be worth saving if they let their neighbors die when they could have done something. Anything. Right now, there is a ticking clock. They probably don't actually have clocks on this planet. Right now, the sand in the hourglass has reached its final grains. We have precious little time. But what time you can give Sinia, what time you can give the man who seeks to save it, this is the stuff of glory. This is the stuff of legend. This is where real men are forged. And Isidore stands up to the call, and he fights, and probably dies. We'll see what happens. So first, we got some Tartuans. They got 1, 2, 3, 4 forks, which means they start out with 10 dice, and then I guess we'll say... So they're in, the Isidore's intent here is to fight long enough that, I guess it's to wound them, right? And if he manages to wound them enough, then maybe they get delayed. I guess there's 2 different intents, right? There's if one side or the other succeeds, they'll get either the delay that they wanted or the time that they needed to get to Sinia. But there also will be wounds exchanged, I think, either way, based on IMS stuff. Okay, so then I'm gonna add 20 dice for Tartuans, and then we're gonna get Isidore's gonna get plenty of dice for his soldiers too. We'll go ahead and do this. Yikes! Yeah, when you have demon rock golems with gratiated like punching, it's not very fun times.
Do they get any benefit from it being a swamp?
Yes. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of different things that Isor is going to be able to add up here for all the stuff that's happened like up to now. Certainly, it helps that like the terrain is very much against the literal rock golems trying to get through this place. So that makes sense. Okay, so Isidore is rolling spear, and he's forking in boxing, brawling, command, horsewise, because he's riding his horse while he's doing this. Intimidation, lance, riding, and that's it for forks for him. So he has 7 forks, and then he can get 1 for like the terrain. I'm trying to think of what other things matter. 1 for the consecration, 1 for Mahava, probably 2 for Mahava. Just like his Mahava probably has some sort of fighting skill, maybe a staff or something. I don't know. And then actually, real quick, I'll roll for him to give some extra dice to Isidore for like the give dice thing. Okay, so he gets 3 extra dice for that. So we're at 14 extra dice that he's getting. Anything else we can think of that Isidore would have in this moment to protect Cruzia? Besides like all of his soldiers, which I'm going to add here in a second. Okay. I'm going to add 40 dice for him. He is black shaded, so this still could very much fail. He has 54 dice in help. So he's rolling 59 dice altogether. Still could fail, right? Like the way that dice are swinging at higher amounts, it's still entirely possible he fails this. He'll spend any Artha he possibly has, which are 2. And then here we go, 21. Whoa, he did it. He even had a wound. I forgot about that. He got wounded last time. Nice. And he got so many 6s too. So even if he had failed that, like he would have been able to. And again, this isn't like they kill them, right? They're literal demon rock golems. Like this is not a fight they can ultimately win, but they give Joser the time that he needs, right? There is not the threat of the Tartuans is not like they're about to get to the wall when Joser has to do this ritual stuff. So we have that going on in the background here. But yeah, I think it could make sense that like Joser, when he like says, oh, "Be gone, I need peace and quiet," like he just like shunts everybody into some spiritual realm where they get to talk. I think that makes sense. I think it even might be like there's a moment where Dardanus. Okay, Avra, make a will test for me. There's still something we never got quite finished with Avra. I think it's an Ob 5. You can spend some Persona if you like. Consequences of failing this is Dardanus, the touch of madness you still have somewhere there that never actually got expunged by Joser, even though we talked about it multiple times. This is Dardanus trying to pull on that last string he has on you and trying to twist Joser's intent ever so slightly. It's not going to be like none of you are going to die. It's not going to be like super detrimental like that, but it's going to be a twisting.
Use 2 Artha.
Sounds good.
And which of that would I actually be using so I know what to mark down? Is it Fate or Persona that I'm using here?
Persona.
Okay.
Oof, that was a really bad roll. Oof. All right, we'll mark that difficult test. You're 1 difficult test away from advancing will. So, Joser, you kind of shunt everybody away. And there's a moment where everybody just gets shunted to the dark side of the planet. Just everybody who you pushed away. And this isn't like everybody's gonna die because they're gonna suffocate on the dark side of the planet or whatever, but it's this meeting that's happening is happening in a place that's like bad for you guys and not good for you guys. Otherwise, it probably would have been in Joser's realm, right? It would have been like in the sun or something that meeting is happening on. But instead, you kind of end up in this. You're all standing in a black wasteland, right, of sand, and like tar pits and other stuff like that. And we see Alpheus, Avra, who else was in Buddy Squad? I think Sadiq stays with you, Joser. I think that makes sense, right? He's still your bodyguard. He's watching over you as you do your rituals. So it's Alpheus, Avra, Caledon needs to stay with you as well. I think Malekith gets sent. No, okay, yeah. So Malekith is here with you guys, Avra. Pyrrhus' Holy Order guy, and then obviously we already got rid of the team of soldiers. So Joser, Thalia, Sadiq, and Caledon have stayed in the throne room. Everybody else is shunted into the dark side of the planet. You're also there, obviously, with Cyrillus, some soldiers, Zoe, the priest Simdicame, and Titan. And Titan has nowhere to hide now, so he's just kind of like standing in the middle of of the black wasteland, holding like a dagger. And it looks like a weird dagger. It doesn't actually look like a dagger at all. It looks like a spearhead, maybe. And you're all standing there, and you've happened to be placed right next to. I think Ophelia has taken a moment. She's been struggling with this whole redeem all the gods thing. She's still not entirely sure if that's what she wants. And so she's taken a moment with her old cult to just kind of like meditate a little bit, right? And, so Myri and Calafina and Embar are off, waging a war somewhere else. Ophelia has kind of gone off to this place to be alone for a little while. And you guys happen to just drop right in the middle of her little meditation circle. So Ophelia's there, her old cult buddies, her son. Like, there's a whole bunch of NPCs that are just like standing in this black wasteland now. What do you guys do? Like, I mean, Cyrillus and Co could just like, try to attack you guys and whatnot, but Malekith is here. He has faith. He could try to hold them off with like faith magic and stuff. And then he also has his Holy Order guy. And then Ophelia obviously is here with her people as well. So Cyrillus probably and Cyrillus and Titan and Zoe all look like very confused, right? And just like what like no, and Zoe, I think it's Zoe who just says, no, we had a plan. We were going to fulfill the plan. Joser, Agiel was not supposed to get his power back. How did this happen, Dardanus? And she's just like talking to the air. Ophelia, I think, immediately runs over to you, Avra. And like grabs your hands and says, how are you? Why are you? What's happening?
So, question, is Alikos like officially like
he is probably near,
alive?
Right?
Okay.
He's probably nearby.
Yeah. So I think she just tells Ophelia, I have no idea. And just does her like just out of curiosity, kind of, because she doesn't know really like her main clue of like where she is in the first place is that Ophelia's here.
Yeah.
And so she just out of curiosity does her like arm signal for like her falcon to land on her arm. Just to see if anything happens.
Yeah, you want to make a falconry test? See if you can like magically summon him to you. He feels your presence. I think it's gonna be an ob 5, Ever.
Okay. Can I fork in animal husbandry?
Yep.
Affinity for birds.
Yes. Yeah. Affinity for birds. You can fork on hunting.
Okay.
He's hunting you, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. Yeah, I think that's probably all I can look in though. What did you say the ob was?
5.
Okay. Does not work.
Yeah, and failure here isn't that he doesn't come; it's just that he's delayed in
Yeah.
coming, right? Like he's
Oh, right.
on his way, but he doesn't like instantly appear. So
Yeah.
you can spend you could spend 2 fate. You have a 6.
Sure. Why not? I think I literally have 8 fate right now, so. Oh, remaining on 3. Is that correct? I never know if I'm reading these things correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 3.
Dice. Is it 2 since I'm spending 2 fate? Okay.
Mhm.
Yay.
Ooh, close, but no cigar. so close. Yeah, I mean, like margin of success or margin of failure here, right? Like he is close, but he's not quite here yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. So I think Cyrillus looks at the rest of you and just I think says, like, maybe this is what Dardanus wants. Maybe we just kill them all here, and that will do something. Want to do something, Zoe? And Zoe is just like, I don't know. We needed to kill Joser. We had to kill Joser. And then I guess let's cut back to Joser for a moment, since everybody's just kind of like standing in shock. And do ritual first, right? You have to coronate the king.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I will.
Yeah, and there's a serene silence in the throne room right now. Like the whole soundtrack goes out. It's just like the soft patter of footsteps as you walk across the throne room, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Since I am the sun now, is the obs problem?
Yes, you have your +1 ob is gone. Yep.
Excellent.
At least until you go back to being gratiated, if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he does that. Gives himself some extra dice. So ritual with
Indeed.
What was the ob for this one?
I think of 4. It's a little bit more complicated than a wedding. Obviously, it's not a funerary, right?
Yeah,
something along those lines.
2 from that, and 1 from that. City-wise, rule of law. This is something I anticipated.
Yes. You were going to do it with Ben, but yeah.
Yep. And Celadon could probably help me with a dice.
Yes. Probably has something. Either like rule of law or obscure history or something, yeah. Or just oratory for like doing the vows, right? Or something,
yep.
right?
Mm-hmm. So with Thalia's help,
let's do etiquette. And that gives you 2 dice.
Okay, cool. So with Thalia's help, that brings me up to 12 total, including faith. Assists. No Arthur, base obstacle 4, was it?
Yep. Very
cool.
Nice. That was the easy part.
Mm-hmm. And then what's next? Astrology to attune.
Yeah, let's. So this is happening. We're starting to see the montage, right? We hear Celadon say the vows in response, right? The call and response here for the coronation, and we're kind of cutting back through a lot of different back and forth between a lot of different stuff at this point. And then we have Maya huddled in the room with Ben, right? As the Ophelia zombie starts to climb up. The first thing that needs to happen here is your protectors need to do their job, right? If they can.
The first thing is, does Ben need to be convinced to hide, or is he gonna try to like be?
No, I don't think he needs to be convinced to hide. He knows.
Okay, I'm just asking because
he's on
I
board
know that
with it at this point. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know, because if so, I was going to make a child rearing test to be like, sometimes being brave means like,
The better part of
not being
valor.
stupid.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think he understands this is dangerous and he needs to run or hide. Or whatever. Yeah.
The warriors can do their thing, but if they fail, I think I know what I'm going to do.
Okay. All right, so we have what, Kalik and Knossos here. Anyone else though? Obviously, there's like soldiers, I'm sure. Just
Gavril, but I don't think he could do anything.
Yeah, Gavril.
If anything, I'd probably tell Gavril to stay with Ben. As like the absolute last minute thing.
Yeah, he's not good at any. He has intimidation. Okay, yeah, that would be his like last ditch effort.
Right, he's like
scare her. Yeah, back off. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's gonna work on a zombie.
Probably not. Yeah. All right, so we got Kalik. He is going to go ahead and try to give himself some advantage here, by first trying to open end, which he fails at, because he's not a very good priest. I guess he'll spend a fate and fail that too. Okay, that's fine. He's stuttering a prayer, right? He's very scared. I mean, so is Knossos, right? Knossos might even just bolt. So let's see here. We'll go ahead and roll. And this is just Ophelia, right, against him. So she doesn't get her like massive horde of zombie helps. Because I think you guys have like fortified, like obviously if enough time passes, then the horde's going to get in, but you guys have fortified the manor enough, like with soldiers and barricades and stuff, that only Ophelia with her like weird spying powers is able to get in through a window and like attack you guys. Okay, so spear, we have knives, and then we have...
So Caleb, I guess my real question is like, would it be more beneficial for me to throw in my help now, or as here's my idea, because I feel like this is the only thing Maya can do.
Yeah. Is
be conspicuous. I'm your target, go after me. It's literally she's not going to convince anybody of anything here, except that, hey, you go come after me. So I don't know if
you could probably attempt to do some sort of like, is Ophelia still in there? Any vestigial, but she doesn't even know you, right? That's part of the problem.
Right. She's literally never met me.
Yeah. So if this was Avra, then 100% this Avra can make a roll against the Ophelia zombie, but
I was...
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yep.
So I just don't know if it makes more sense for me to do this as like I'm hiding, and until like if like they fail, then I'm like, come at me.
Yep.
Or if I like say come at me, and
let's see if they can actually hold her off first.
Okay. All right. Because basically my idea is that come at me, and then that's like Ben and Gavril's like chance to like escape kind of a thing.
Yep. Agreed.
So all right.
Okay, so I think this is. And Kalik has some persona. He's gonna go all out here. He promised you that he would do this. So, this is his role. Whoa, that was a good roll. Okay, all right, he got 11. And then Ophelia has like a really high. I didn't make her. No, I didn't. Okay, I did make her gray shade. I think she has. Yeah, she only has like 12 dice, I think, altogether. It's gray shaded, so it's like more likely than not, or not more likely than not, but more likely than if she had black. Yeah, we'll see. No, yeah, she can't pull it off. And I don't even think she had a handful of fate. So, I don't think she'll even try. So this means that Kalik does like a wound against her, right? So he has a spear and a power of 5. Oh, come on. They don't have the index of weapons on here? That's bogus. Those are the most important things to have in a compendium. I need to talk to their manager. Okay, so spear, power, add He got how much over her? Yeah, enough for sure. So he got the highest, which would be 7. Yeah, he did a B9 wound to her, which I don't know exactly what the stats are going to be looking like here. I kind of bumped up some of these things. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to be like serious or traumatic. But I think enough that like I don't think he kills her, but she is too wounded to keep fighting and retreats. So again, stalling tactic. Eventually hordes of people are going to get in here if someone doesn't stop them, because things have gone so poorly outside. But Ophelia the zombie has ran away, and there's probably even a moment where like Calic, and Knossos, like this is a major moment for Knossos, I think too, because if Calic had failed here, Knossos probably runs away, right? But Calic leads the charge, and Knossos probably looks back, sees Maya like race down the hallway with Ben to like get him away, and it's just like he says to himself briefly as Ophelia like is coming on, he just says, Knossos, if you've ever done anything worthwhile in your entire pitiful life, it's now. And then him and Calic and a bunch of soldiers just fight Ophelia to a standstill. Do a big wound. Calic is the one who gets the actual blow, like in her chest, and Ophelia's zombie body screeches and then like contorts weirdly and kind of scrambles like a spider out of the window she broke into originally. And Calic is just standing there like barely managed, and that was like a terrifying experience for him. Some of the soldiers that he's with died probably for sure. Just random mooks, but managed to fend her off. And yeah, I think we cut back to the conversation between everybody. So like Avra and Ophelia could have a conversation. That was one of the most important things to me, because there's something going on with Ophelia right now that I think would be interesting.
I'm fine with that. I need a couple minutes though before we do anything.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. In which case, let's just go back to Joser then and get the next step down.
Mm-hmm.
So astrology is next, right?
Mm-hmm. Astrology is next. This would probably be the on 5 version, I'm guessing.
Yes. What? So you're doing this to?
Essentially, when I purge everything, I want the kind of one of the things that essentially I'm trying to like discern what is Dardanus's madness and what is the Tartoon's influence.
Yeah.
So that when I do the miracle to like remove that binding and that like essentially that curse on the earth, that at least in this area, that I am purging the right stuff essentially, instead of just
Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Get a detailed horoscope of the whole situation.
Yep. So I've got my usual 3 forks, and I've got Thalia and Sadiq. Would what's his name, Celadon, have a skill that would help, or?
I think he has doctrine at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a 2 in doctrine. I don't know if there's a better skill than that. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 helps, and
his almanac
5.
too.
There you go. That's right. I gave you my almanac.
Nice.
Cool.
Your mind has connected the dots.
Yeah, and then the next step would be trying to actually miracle it.
Mm-hmm. So everyone in the dark side of the planet is kind of is very confused. Dardanus was trying to get you all to go to the dark side of the planet so that Cyrillus could, try to attack you or whatever. But like, I was the idea that I had was, okay, here's a question. Alpheus, if Cyrillus just ordered the soldiers to try to kill you, would then Alpheus be like, whoa, hold on?
Probably.
Because I just remember that Dardanus specifically like pushed on Avra's mind to get this to happen. So that's probably what he had in mind, was just like, well, at least I can kill all these people in revenge.
I don't even know who Dardanus is. I keep hearing the name, but I don't know.
So Dardanus is the god of madness. He's the guy who's in charge of the smaller sun that like went in front of the large sun.
Okay.
He's the guy who's been behind Cyrillus's
boss.
hatred cult. Yeah.
And he's there with us?
Dardanus is not there currently. He's in his sun. But I think the idea is that he's probably nudging Cyrillus at this point after they flounder for a little while, right? Cyrillus and Zoe, and Titan's just like, I was trying to do what you asked me to do. And he's standing there with like this weird looking knife in his hand. And I think Cyrillus eventually does just look at everybody, and Ophelia like about to say something to Avra, but then Cyrillus just I think orders the soldiers, basically just says, oh, there's one thing that I know out of any of this, and that's that there can be no more pawns. No more pawns. No more pawns. Everyone must be cleared from the board. And he raises his arm, and basically just like you can tell Alpheus, he's about to give the order to just murder you guys.
And who all of us is there?
Yeah, so Malekith is here, and he has his like bodyguard, so they could attempt to do something. They're the people who could actually, do something besides talk.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's you and Avra, and I think that's it. Yeah, it's you and Avra.
So it's Cyrillus is the one commanding them?
Yep. We have Cyrillus, Zoe, who is like the weird witch lady who was like behind, who was like working with Ophelia at one point and giving her weird herbs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Titan's in the room too, I guess. Not a room, but he's standing off to the side as well. But he's just standing kind of dumbfounded.
Okay, so Alpheus just like waves his hands and screams and says, "Please stop! Don't kill us!" And
I think, okay, here we have to do one thing real quick. So Alpheus is saying this, right? He's just shouting like, no, please don't kill us. And we cut back to Joseph for just a moment. And Joseph, you're about to do the thing, right? You get ready to do the faith magic. And we see you probably even just like, your hands are glowing. Everything is like coming together. The power is reaching its crescendo. And you are about to like set it off. And then it just kind of fizzles for a moment. And you sense that there's still one thing that's like not quite right about this. And you suddenly remember that Cyrillus is actually technically the real heir to the throne and the rightful king of Sinia in this moment. I actually went through and thought through all the implications here. If marrying someone, right, is like the thing that did this, he actually did marry Ophelia for formal reasons, but and she's the eldest daughter, right? Even though she's dead, that doesn't necessarily matter. So something needs to be done about that before you can actually do this. Like, your ritual works, so as soon as he's out of the picture, Caledon will be the right person. But there's like something that chess piece is still on the board that needs to be taken. And so I think there's a moment here where like you don't have access to Cyrillus because he's like in this other place. And you get this like smug sense from Dardanus where he's like, haha, yes, I twisted your intent here to be like, he's away from you now. You shunted everybody away. He's also away from you. You need to get rid of this guy, and now he's away from you, at least for the time being. And obviously we could do something here if things go wrong. But I think that kind of sheds some light on Alpheus's moment here with Cyrillus. Obviously Alpheus doesn't know this, but we know this now. And so Cyrillus is about to, order the deaths of everybody here. And Alpheus, you shout, no, please stop, don't kill us. And he just he looks amusedly at you, Alpheus, right? He just smiles and he says, "Why not, Alpheus? Since when were you squeamish at the sight of blood? Since when did you stop on your road to power? That's not the Alpheus I know."
I want Alpheus to just be like, since when did you become a psycho?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah.
But that's something I would actually say.
Yeah.
Okay, Alpheus ignores what he said.
Okay.
Because he knows it's just bait.
Yeah.
And he just says, what do you gain from this? Why take over Sinia? What's your goal? What do you get out of this? For you, what does Cyrillus gain?
And he blinks for a moment, and honestly, like the immediate answer that kind of comes to his tongue, and we can kind of see he's about to say this, is like the tried and true doctrine answer for his weird cult, which is like, no, we all want the void, like we don't want God controlling us. But he thinks about it, and like I was thinking about Cyrillus's character today, and just thinking through, like, Cyrillus has almost always been a vessel for someone else, right? He's just been following whoever happens to be controlling him. And I think there at least gives him a moment of pause when you ask him that, because he can't actually think of something. Like Cyrillus the man can't think of anything in that moment. And he blinks, and then he says, "Well, I'm king of Sinia. I have control. For the first time, I have control over my life. I'm calling the shots. You know what it was like for me back in Sinia when I was tossed around to and fro by anyone who had pulling my chain."
And you have nobody's pulling your chain now?
He doesn't have an answer in the moment.
And so he doesn't answer, and Alpheus says, Do I know the name Dardanus? Should Alpheus know that?
You can make a doctrine. Well, no, I think Joseph's probably filled in enough people at this point as to
we've been
finer
kind
details.
of talking about it.
So I say, what about Dardanus? Are you not bound to him and his will?
We're comrades. We want the same thing. We want this all to end. The lie, Alpheus.
What lie?
The lie that someone can pull our strings. The father of the gods is returning, Alpheus, and he is going to take control of everyone. He's no more free will, Alpheus. But you can see, like, he's starting to doubt his own rhetoric.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, technically, Joser, you are realizing the implications of the thing that we talked about. And so, like, you could try to, do something here as well to, like, help Alpheus or, interfere. What would Joser do in that moment to try to make his ritual go off on his own accord? And I don't think you can just, like, miracle him back necessarily, but. Because that might, like, interfere somewhat with what Alpheus is trying to do, either for good or for ill, depending.
Yeah, Joseph probably tries to just get in contact with Alpheus.
Mm-hmm. Do your faith connection.
Mm-hmm.
Unlikely you'll fail with your white shaded faith.
And this would be level 5, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Nice. Exactly 1-1.
Alpheus, you there? You there?
Hello.
Am I like talking to you in my brain?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to get this guy to stop. Trying to get him to turn against his boss.
If you would like, you could tell him that if he abdicates from the throne of Sinia, then I will remove the strings that are held tight on. What's it called? Forgotten the planet's name again.
Arcadiat.
Arcadia. Yes, I will remove the strings that bind Arcadia.
What's it? Arcadia?
Arcadiat is the
Arcadia?
yeah, it's the planet you're on.
I'm just so I can say it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alpheus says, Cyrillus, if you stop this madness and remove the chains that Dardanus has on you, what did you say? Then the chains on Arcadia will be gone too, or
yeah. Dardanus is pulling strings at the moment.
Okay.
If you can remove, if he just like essentially abdicates from the throne, even just something as simple as that gesture, Hagiel's like, I can remove a lot of strings that Dardanus is pulling.
Release the throne, and Dardanus will no longer control you. You know he does. Everything you've done up to this point has been because of him, not because of you. You think you had those thoughts on your own? Think, Cyrillus.
Make a persuasion test. That's what that is. And I think we'll just go ahead and make this an ob 10, right? Like this is like Cyrillus isn't necessarily the most willful person, but like he's also like fueled with all this hatred magic. There's like a bunch of magical things happening to him that's like preventing this sort of thing from happening in the first place. But like I feel, and this is what I felt from the beginning of the session, I feel from the beginning of this arc, I feel like Alpheus out of anyone could be the person to shake him out of it, just by virtue of their previous relationship and the unique insight Alpheus has on who Cyrillus has always been.
Okay.
Yeah,
so but I need to figure out what I can fork in, if anything.
Am I allowed to bless him?
Yes, you can do one faith test, I think. Yeah. You don't have time for that.
Okay, he'll just give him extra dice then.
Yep.
I don't know I don't have anything to fork in.
Were you lying about anything that you're saying?
I
think there is a part of deception, at least in what Joser was trying to add, because, like, yes, all the chains will be broken, but then there will be chains that will be brought back when the father does return. Like,
like Cyrillus should still be punished for killing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I think you can fork and false it. That's fine.
Okay.
I think you can fork in contract-wise, because technically, like, the relationship that Cyrillus has to Dardanus himself is a contract, right? It's like this weird, like, cult hatred contract thing that they like, yeah, we're going to work together to destroy the world.
So what do I get from the faith?
3 dice?
2, 3.
3.
Okay, so that's 5. Can I use fate?
After the fact, yeah.
Oh, persona then.
Yeah, persona, yeah.
And that's just 1 for 1? Like, How many can I use?
Up to 3.
Okay, I'll do 3. Do I put that here or in another? Do I put that on forks, or is there another tab?
There's another tab after that for Artha, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so close. You got 3 6s.
Yeah.
If you want to spend two fate, you can reroll 4 dice.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
Only
bad.
one success, but you got it. Yeah, just barely. And I think it's like this, right? Cyrillus is under the thrall of something that is way more powerful than he is. But I do think he has the willpower to do the one thing that Joser asked, right? Which was to abdicate the throne. But I think like what happens when he does so, right? He says, I never really wanted any of this. And we get like a weird flash of like, Cyrillus drinking with various friends throughout the campaign and before the campaign. And he's like thinking like I was really a simple dude. Like I didn't know, but I just have no will of my own to be able to like resist the tides that are pushing me forward. But he realizes in this moment that he can at least do one thing probably before he gets destroyed. And he reaches into his belt, grabs a flask, downs some whiskey or whatever strong drink he happens to have in that flask, and then just says, I abdicate the throne of Sinia. And then he explodes. Dardanus' full fury just like rains down on him because Dardanus is like, no, you idiot, the one thing I literally told you not to do. And he just like literally just disintegrates into ash, right? Just and ash just rains down on everybody. And Joser, you have your moment to do this, but I think during this conversation, Ophelia has been having a whispered conversation with Avra. And she says, Avra, I don't know what to do. This is like while this is all happening, like you're on the edge of this tense scene.
About what?
About everything, about what to choose, what any of this means. Death is what I sought after for so long. I don't trust myself, Avra. I think the only person I trust is you. I need you to convince me of something, Avra. I need you to convince me that there actually is something for me at the end of this. You were dancing around it earlier. I could see it. I could hear it in your voice. You don't think I'm redeemable at all, do you?
Avra pulls up the Irida, starts flipping through some pages.
I don't think you do that, but I will allow you to like scan through your memory of like what you've heard from the Irida or like read from the Irida up to this point. I don't think you have a moment to to actually pull the book out, but yeah. What would you like to? What's your intent here? What are you trying to do?
Legitimately
Just like get that answer.
Find out like, is she redeemable? Like, if we even tried to redeem her in some way, like bring her back, like, would it actually be better for her than to just stay dead?
Yeah. So it's going to be an ob 4 if you just want the answer to that question from me. It's going to be an ob 6 if you want to decide the answer yourself.
Yeah, ob 4.
Okay.
I don't actually care that much about Ophelia's fate. Like,
fair enough. All right, yeah, ob 4.
I forget how I do this roll. Is it doctrine, working in heraldry and other stuff? I forget.
It is doctrine, yes. You're basically using doctrine as if it was astrology, and you're forking in heraldry, and I don't think you can fork in read to this one because of the time constraint.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't actually have the book in front of me.
Yeah, so you have 5 dice against an op 4 right now.
Right.
Ooh, so close. No 6s though. You can spend 1 fate to reroll 1 failed dice.
Sure.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, mark that difficult on doctrine. So Avra, yeah, the Irida basically just tells you, no, she is not redeemable. And honestly, she's thinking right now of betraying everyone.
Oh, lovely.
How exactly, you're not sure, but she's contemplating in her mind right now what she can do to have control over the situation instead of everyone else, right? I'm actually not sure what that is. I had a couple of thoughts, but like she isn't really in the best place right now, like either politically or physically. Does anyone have an idea? I want to make sure that Ophelia's end here is suitably dramatic to who Ophelia is. I think that Ophelia wasn't going to be redeemed. She was a maniac and a terrible person throughout the entire show, right? But I want to give her a chance here in this moment. At the very least, Avra can try to stop her from doing something here, but I want to give her a thing she will try to do to kind of bring her arc to its conclusion, where she betrays Avra and everyone else for the last time, tries to do her own thing and probably fails. Any ideas? Titan right now is actually the one holding the god-killing spear. They took it off of its haft and gave it to him as a dagger. He was going to assassinate Joser with it. That was the whole plan. So she could like try to grab that or do something, I guess. But like she's also just not in. She's in the dark side of the planet, so I don't know what she does exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas? We're rapidly reaching the end of this, and I want to make sure all these characters are getting their last chances.
I don't know if it's just like because I don't want Ophelia to do this, but like she just said that like you're the only one I trust, and then like I don't know if she sees like Avra like hesitate or like what, but like
here's the question. Yeah, Avra, are you going to tell her like no?
What was the last thing she asked?
Do you think I'm redeemable? Basically, like, am I actually redeemable? Do you believe I'm redeemable? I believe is the
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how best to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that she's not. I don't know if I could pull off a falsehood.
Yeah. Because, like, I guess one thought would be maybe she could pull off some weird faith in dead gods thing to go back into her body and, like, wreak havoc in the physical world. That's one avenue she could take. But I don't know, like, her thing right now, like, she doesn't really like the, like, hatred cult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but so I don't really know what she actually wants, all things considered.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like the thing she wants is for Avra to tell her that she is like to have Avra like believe in her for once. I don't know.
That's certainly what she wants, but like it's not what's true, right?
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of and honestly, like part of the thing here is like
not gonna help.
Exactly.
Even-
if
even
Avra
if
says,
Avra
like,
would
we do think you're
lie.
redeemable, and, like, here, just come along with us and do everything, she probably would. Like she wouldn't, like, betray everyone in that moment, but that would maybe, like she would try to, like, kill Ben or kill Celadon or whoever, right? Like, whoever she needed to, like,
Mhm.
get one last dig in before she just died,
Right.
like, before someone killed her, right? She'd be like, no, I'm pettiness, right? Like, Avra, like, really, Ophelia's thing is centered on Avra more than anything else,
Mhm.
right? It's like her weird obsession with Avra is what everything has been centering around from day one. So maybe she just tries to kill Avra. Maybe Avra fails to tell her, like, lie to her, and she just tries to kill you. But then in that case, like, who saves you, right? Like, how do you get out of that? I don't know. That's the question before us.
I mean, I do still have my arm up for Alikos.
Oh, right, of course. Pfft, duh. Okay, yeah, that's what happens. There we go. That's the dramatic thing I need.
Should I
Okay.
try to roll a falsehood?
I mean, you might as well, right? If you are going to do it, you might as well do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could also try ugly truth.
Yeah, or
That's
soothing
true.
platitudes, because you actually have to.
Yeah.
Soothing platitude
Yeah.
is also.
Yeah, soothing platitudes could work, right? Because you could even not even lie to her, but just try to, like, push her off until there's a better time to talk about this, right?
Yeah, I just don't know how Avra would go about that. So I feel like just her, especially with my instinct of, like, not knowing someone's intentions. Obviously in this situation, like, she knows the intentions, but in a way it still kind of applies that, like, she's not just gonna tell her, no, I know for certain from the Irida that you're not redeemable.
Yeah, I mean, you could try to an ugly truth to break her, right? Just, like, break her will so severely with that truth that she just, like, collapses into a puddle. That's one avenue.
Ugh. I mean, I think deep down that's what Avra, like, feels like she wants to do. Like, she wants to just yell at her and be like, no, you're not redeemable, you're a crap human being. Why would you think that you could ever, like, I know that you're trying to figure out a way to backstab me right now. But I think she's just scared, and so she's probably just gonna try to do a falsehood and try to get it.
Of course you are. What are you talking
just
about?
to placate her for now. And she's not gonna do it as, like, an overt, like, absolutely irredeemable, but she's just going to act like she doesn't absolutely know the answer from the Irida that she's not redeemable, and be like, I'm not the judge of that. Only you can, like, figure out.
Sure. Only you, like, can decide your destiny.
Yeah. Basically be like, it's up to you.
Yeah, that seems like a falsehood to me.
Yeah.
All right. So Ophelia's will is 3. I always forget that.
Oh.
This is entirely possible.
It actually is possible.
Since it's being learned, I can't fork anything in, right?
You can't fork, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any
Test,
like
though.
is this harder? Would this be harder to do on Ophelia, or does she? I guess she just wants this to be true, right?
Yeah.
I just feel
Yeah,
like
I
because
don't
it's
think she-
Avra, I feel like it would just be.
Yeah. I don't think she wants it to be true enough that she, like, Avra would get, like, advantage dice to the falsehood, but I think it's just op 3. Yeah. So yeah, being learned, falsehood, op 3. It'll double the 6, but, you know, could get lucky. I think Avra has a good will.
Yikes.
But she doesn't have good luck. Okay, yeah, so yep. So Ophelia just, like, starts crying. And she's, like, holding you really tightly, Avra. And she just says, "Oh, dear, 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 dear sister. You were always so terrible at lying." And we see a knife flash in her hand behind your back, right? As she's hugging you. And that's the moment where Alikos shows up, right? So this is the test that needs to be happening here. You need to do a falconry versus Ophelia's knife.
Classic bird versus knife roll.
Yes, your old classic bird versus knife. Everyone's favorite.
God, I hope we pull this off because this was just be such a redemption for Alikos from dying the last time this exact same thing happened.
Yep. It's a good moment. I'm glad we took this route. All right, so she's gonna roll. I'll go ahead and roll for her first. Knives. I guess stealthy is the only fork she has, just being sneaky about it. That's about it. She has one persona. She will spend it. And your ob is 4. She has fate, so, and this is probably the last thing she does, so she'll go ahead and spend that too. All right, so ob is 5 total.
Okay. So falconry roll, obviously forking in animal husbandry.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do animal husbandry for this one, like, because animal husbandry is specifically about like taking care of birds. Like, it makes sense if you're like trying to call him to you. That's like a little bit more relevant. But like just getting them to like attack Ophelia I don't think animal husbandry works. But hunting certainly does, right?
What about doctrine? Since he's like a literal angel.
It's a good argument. You could make a linked test with doctrine to like make up something cool about angels, like the Phoenix Angel things that would be, make it better for them to do this in this moment, but not a strict fork. Both of our PC villains will go out and blaze a glory at the exact same time here. Hopefully. Aver just might die. That's also a possibility here. But I suppose when Joseph descends to godhood, you can just res her, so. Are you trying to do your doctrine link test? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, we could just roll it, and then we can make it up if it succeeds or not, right?
Okay.
I'm thinking ob 2 for that one. You could fork in heraldry if this is like an Irida thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so ob 2. If you get ob 2, then nothing happens. If you get 3 or higher, then you get a die. 3, nice. All right, so you can add another die there. So you have hunting. You have noble wise. She's a noble.
Affinity for birds.
That's it. Oh, and affinity for birds.
Oh yes. Okay, so I have. So I do get a die for doctrine.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That was your link test there.
I'm gonna make sure I'm keeping count. Noble eyes.
Good luck.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to spend 1 persona.
Okay.
Why not? Base ob's 5, right?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
All right. You got 1 6. You can spend, how many fate do you have right now?
5.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Spend the 2. So reroll 2 dice.
Yeah.
Pretty good chance of success. It's like 67 or something % chance. Oh boy, I'm worried. I'm really.
Oh
no!
Why would you say that, Caleb? You literally jinxed it.
Oh no! Okay, so does Avra have anything else? I don't think she does. I guess the only thing would be like a call on or a deeds point, but I don't think there's no call on for bird stuff.
Oh wait, I think
Yeah?
I forgot to put affinity for birds in my original roll.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we reminded you, so it should be in there if you didn't. So doctrine, hunting, noble eyes. Yeah, no, you needed one more die. Roll the luck again, right? Roll the fate thing again with 1 die. That is your only hope. Oh no. Literally 50% chance. Oh no.
Oh.
I blame Caleb.
Yeah. So the tragedy strikes. We got to get the darkest night of the soul in there somewhere, right? Ophelia murders Avra. She stabs her in the back.
Persona? Isn't that how?
That's true. Do you have one persona left?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously that. Okay, so you have 2 choices here.
To leave at least one.
Yes, good call. You have 2 choices here. Either you can say Avra gets a mortal wound, but will survive as long as someone, will survive eventually. She needs to get treated and stuff. Or you can spend that persona right now to be like, let's redirect the narrative away from this role. I failed it, but we're going to do something else, right? And we can figure out what that is. We'd probably have to have a good idea of what other situation you'd end up in, and the role you'd have to make there. So the idea would be like, because it's not that you can't like do another falconry test, right? So I don't even know if it's like Alikos really shows up. Maybe this is it. Maybe Alikos, maybe Skion joins in betrayal with her master, with his master and mistress, and just attacks Alikos, right? And like prevents him from getting to you in time. And so that would be, I think that's maybe what happens no matter what. But like, if Avra spends her persona point here, we would have to redirect the narrative away from her stabbing you and you failing the falconry retest to like the equivalent of she pushed you off a cliff and now you're dangling, right? You have to roll something else to not fall. Obviously, that's not the exact situation you're in, but we'd have to find some other stat or skill you could roll to get out of her stabbing you. It could be that like Alikos comes in just in time to knock the knife out of her hand, and then Skion attacks him, and they tussle, and you don't have access to him anymore, and then you have to do something else. Yeah.
Do I have Balthazar here?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Then would he have given another like advantage?
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
I swear to God, if you roll one more time and it's a fail.
I think that's probably that's true though, because like otherwise Balthazar was pointless, right?
Right.
I think...
My thought is like my intention was to get Alikos to help because he's the one I've like thoroughly trained, and he's clearly he's a literal angel, so he's like got that going for him. But maybe Balthazar in some way recognizes that he could do something and
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do the thing again. Do the coin flip one more time. We're just bad at remembering these things.
Well, I also was just very unaware of like the rules of what had happened and where we were, and so. Oh yeah.
It would have been a very, very slim possibility that it happens again. So yeah. Okay, yeah, and I think this is a good moment too, because like that all happens, right? Alikos comes, knocks the knife out of her hands for a moment, probably, right? And then Skion and him start tussling. Probably what happens is like Alikos's fire is burning up Skion's like black feathers, and underneath there's like a weird shadowy bird that remains, right? And they're like fighting like light and darkness, kind of like in a like a twirl in the air. And like Avra's like just like backing away from Ophelia, but like has no real way to defend herself otherwise, right? And so Ophelia just like grabs the knife and comes at you again. And then we see Balthazar, who kind of maybe like when Ophelia came over, like flapped away, like because he was like, oh, this lady's creepy, I don't like her. Swoops in at the last moment, and probably, I don't know, up to you, Avra. Does he like die saving you? or does he just like grab the knife from her hands? But you know what? I think it should be grab the knife from her hands, because then Balthazar can still be Maya's bird at the end of all this.
Right.
You succeeded on
Yeah.
a roll. We don't need to punish you for this.
Yeah.
I think Balthazar, we see like, it's this blue and gray hawk just swoops down and grabs the knife from her hand and zips away. And then that's when Cyrillus explodes, right? And everything is a little crazy there and for a little while. I'm trying to decide what we go from here. Like, I think it unravels. Them all being in this place, right? It unravels and everybody gets shunted back to the light side of the planet, except for Ophelia, who's stuck here.
That's a relief.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to end that sequence. And we get so Joser's obviously going to make his like ultimate roll, but the one thing that I'm still wondering about, right, is the moment between. So Maya, more than anyone else, hasn't done anything this session, and I want to give her like a chance to do the
What
thing
are you
that
talking about? I sang a great song at a wedding today.
That's true. It's true. But okay, so hear me out. Do you think it would be okay? Like, this is obviously something that would be bad for you, but that Titan shows up, right? But Malekith also shows up, both at the manor, as this like weird like energy is swirling around. Everybody's getting like teleported to random places in Sinia. Where we have the moment that Maya wanted between Titan. Or is that are we outside the realm of possibility at this point? I'm trying to think of like Titan probably still needs an ending here. And Maya could probably do something else.
I feel like though, like, yeah, I understand like you're trying to include me in the session and I appreciate that and stuff, but I feel like the moment between like Titan's ending has to be with Alpheus, right? Because he's the one he has a grudge against. And
Yeah,
that's where I was trying to go with Maya, was being like,
okay.
Why are you coming after me? Go after Alpheus. You hate him.
Yeah.
I hate him. Like,
yeah, sure. Okay. Then this is what happens instead. Okay. Malekith gets transported to you, Maya.
Okay.
And we have one last thing that he has to do to defend you from the zombie horde that's breaking through your doors, right? This is Malekith's moment to protect his family, right? And do a faith roll to like consecrate the zombies, right? To do the thing. Obviously, and this is mainly just to like to keep them off long enough so that Joser can do his thing. He doesn't have to like kill them all or anything. So Malekith.
So question. So I guess same question. Is this is my conspicuous role a last second thing, or should I help him?
I think so. I think that makes sense. He's making a faith roll here. Okay. So I don't think you can help.
Well, just that way, like, they don't like go after him while he's in the middle of trying to do something. But
yeah, I mean, you could make like a link test, but
no,
probably
that's fine.
Probably not gonna help that much. Okay, so he has a 6 in faith right now. I don't know if there's anyone here that could help him, really.
No.
Calic is here.
Calic, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not the same. I guess it counts. It's not like he has faith in dead gods or anything. I think that's fine. So he can give him 1 die. And then, what's the odd for this? This is consecrate a 5? Because he doesn't have to do it against the like superpowered Ophelia zombie.
You can do purify, which is 5.
Yeah, purify. That's what I was thinking of.
I don't suppose there's anything I could do.
I don't think so. Not at least you did like a link test or whatever, but
yeah, but I also don't want to make it harder for him.
Exactly. Yeah. I think we could still have a moment with Maya in like an epilogue session where we settle up Sinia and do everybody gets their happy ending sort of thing, right?
I'm so happy that you're not dead.
Yeah. Okay. So Malekith rolls to do the zombie thing. Hey, he did the zombie thing.
My husband's
nice job, Malekith. Yep, and this is like we have the tense moment where it's like Calic and Knossos are about to get killed, right, by the zombies, and like they're breaking through the doors. They're doing the best they can. Knossos is really proving himself because he didn't run when he had the chance, and he's fighting for Ben. And it looks hopeless, and that's when Malekith, kind of whisks in like a teardrop, right? That kind of ripples in his form, and then probably just like fountains of water from his hands, just like holy water, right? Obviously, like just blow them all away. We get that moment, and then I think we should. So here's the question then. Is the moment between Alpheus and Titan, is it before Joser does his thing, or is it after? I feel like could be after.
Yeah, maybe as like we saved Sinia, but oh crap, it's still not, just out of petty
still
revenge.
One dude,
kind of
because he still has the god-killing spearhead in his hand right now, right? So that there could still be stakes there. So yeah, let's have Joser make the roll. Do your thing.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with the way that all that turned out. It took a while to kind of sort through everything. There's so much happening in this game that I wanted to make sure we got in.
Okay. Here it goes. 2 helps. 3 up. Base obstacle. 10.
Nice. Yeah, and with white shaded, it was very unlikely you're going to fail that one. Very nice.
Still possible there.
How close are you to upgrading your faith?
One's not. This is like my first bubble on the next thing of faith. Yeah.
What were you saying?
This is the first thing on my for the next.
No,
bubble of faith.
you were going to say something before I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was saying it was still possible, entirely possible.
Yeah.
With a one sing earlier, but anything is possible.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What does this look like, Joser? Because you obviously have you had this like pattern going on in Sinia, kind of like this enchanted city that you had set up. And Keladon being the king was part of the prophecy that had to do this. You got in tune with like the right frequency to get rid of the madness, and then this is you just basically like expunging it entirely from Sinia. Cool.
Yeah. So essentially, there is, as he begins to pray, he looks down and he raises his hands, and he's clearly focusing on this pretty as much as he can. And I think the final thing he says before the miracle actually activates is he stops speaking for a second. He looks up and he says, "It has been a long time coming. But even this shall pass. I declare death unto madness. Let sanity reign." And the glow that was on Joser just whoop into the floor, and then all the streets start lighting up with the sunlight instead. And I think for the first time, for a very short while, for the first time in history, the earth in Sinia glows stronger than the sun above.
Nice. Very cool. And so we see all the zombies die, all the madness goes away from everybody. There's probably people like the Nikame and any of the cult, the real hatred cultists who just run away in terror. They don't get disintegrated, I don't think, but they flee the city and run into the hills and stuff, and are burning. Their skin is starting to burn off, and they're we have to get out of here. Any of the inhuman monstrosities are destroyed. And then we see a head rise from the sea. We see Surash, right, the leader of the Tartuans, rise from the sea, and with his legion of golems slowly plodding through, up from the depths. and they reach the barrier that you've set up with Sinia, and they cannot pass, right? And we see also like there's Tartuans on the other side of the city. There's just like a ring of Tartuans around that slowly kind of starts to get around the city, and they're frustrated that maybe they're like hoping that there's something else they can do, but like, and there does need to be like the last step of like Joser ascending to godhood and like righting all wrongs. To like really get rid of all the demons and all that stuff. But at the very least, like right now, Sinia is safe. And then, so here's a question for everybody then. We could just end there for now, do another session, and do like any wrapping up we need to do. I think the only thing that like makes, like that we still need to do that's like in not falling action is the confrontation between Alpheus and Titan. So if we want to do that now, we could. I think we probably should do that now. Because even if we do like a session, like an epilogue session, we shouldn't start with something that's dramatic like that. It should just be all falling action. All denouement. So here's like an out of character question. It's not obviously interesting for Titan to just murder Alpheus with a knife, right? So is this like Joser's beam that went off got rid of the god-killing weapon too? And so it's just Alpheus and Titan, the minds, that have to face off here. That makes sense to everybody? We just have one last conversation between Alpheus and Titan. So I think maybe where you guys get transported, Alpheus, is
Does it
very
make sense that Alpheus gets transported where we are, and then the knife that Ben has is there, or no?
I mean, maybe, but like I don't think Titan's really a threat anymore, is the thing. Like, I don't think it's interesting to have Titan with a knife trying to kill anyone at this point. Like, he had his chance. Joser blew a faith roll out of the water to literally just like Deus Ex Machina everyone away. Not actually Deus Ex Machina, because you had faith. That it was an attribute on your character sheet. But if Titan had gotten his chance to stab Joser, he could have killed him, right? He could have just ended Joser and brought him to the dark side of the planet, and it would have had to have been a whole big thing where Myri had to like go redeem him now, that whole thing, right? He didn't get the chance to do it, but like I don't think there's anyone else that makes sense for him to kill except for Alpheus, but Alpheus doesn't have a knife, right? Like, Alpheus doesn't have any knife skill. Like I think the best thing to do here, the real only confrontation that's left for Titan, is just to talk to Alpheus. Because it's always been a battle of minds between the two of them, right? So I think we see the two of them get transported to a rundown tavern known as the Lonely Cliff. It's half destroyed. Its proprietor has long abandoned it. And you both, Alpheus, you like sitting on like a barrel that's like uses a bar stool next to the counter. And Titan like kind of wobbles as he like gets teleported next to you, and you kind of like materialize here, and he like reaches out a hand to steady himself on the counter, and then just like looks over at you slowly, and you realize you're the only two people in this very silent rundown tavern. And he immediately goes for a knife, realizes he doesn't have one, like the knife he had was like the special knife, and just like frowns at you. So seems like you got what you wanted in the end, Alpheus. I suppose I chose the wrong side in all of this. Because he doesn't feel threatened by you, right? Because, yeah. So he just like, he starts, waxing poetic as he does. He kind of puts his arms behind his head and says, "We had a good thing going once, don't you think, Alpheus?"
Do I know why he killed my dad, or just that he did?
I think the implication was that your dad was trying to get out. Your dad was a spy for Kyries originally, and your dad was trying to get out of the business and just stay in Carusia.
So he was just following orders to kill him?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh. So Alpheus just says, you're not welcome here anymore.
Yeah, problem is I'm not welcome in Kyrides either, so I'm not entirely sure what's left for me. You sure you don't have any need for an assassin, Alpheus? Why don't we just let bygones be bygones and put the past behind us, eh?
And Alpheus chuckles and says, why would we trust you? That's all he says.
Yeah. I suppose I don't have a really good answer to that, Alpheus, but a man's got to try, you know? To tell you the truth, Alpheus, I don't really know what to do now.
Well, that's not for me to decide because I'm retired. After I'm done. They probably will just arrest you or kill you. But
I'm sure they will.
If you really think someone can use your skills, then I'm not your guy. You might want to go talk to someone with some authority. And you might want to hurry because we wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you.
Now, I don't believe you believe that for a second.
Oh, if it was up to me, I would kill you right now, but
you're hopelessly incompetent when it comes to fighting.
This I will concede.
So you're just going to let me walk away, Alpheus? Is that how all this ends? We just part ways and you never see me again.
Can I roll persuasion for him to never come back?
I don't even think you need to roll that. I think he's had enough with everything. He's going to go to the farthest corner of the world he can find.
I want him to be dead. I want him to be dead, though.
So here's the thing that I'm thinking, Alpheus. You obviously were talking with Spiridon about revenge and whatnot. And obviously, he didn't want to wasn't he didn't want you to go after revenge, but
I thought because he thought I would get killed.
Right. But I think there is one chance for Alpheus to get what he really wants here, and that's to stall. Right? I think Alpheus could make a roll. We'd have to figure out what it was. To stall long enough talking to Alpheus. You'd have to stall Titan. You'd have to talk to him about something that would be interesting to him. You'd have to give him a reason to stick around talking to you for a little while. But if you stalled long enough, Spiridon soldiers are going to work on cleanup crew and be scouring the city, right? And if they show up, Titan's a dead man.
Well, why can't I just talk to Joser and be in my brain and be like, hey, come over here, send somebody over here?
I suppose you could do that too.
I would rather do that.
Fair enough.
While I'm talking to him, telepathically communicate with Joser.
Mm-hmm.
Or just be like, hey, I know where you should send the lightning bolt.
Sure. What does Joser say?
I'll be along shortly. I'm retired. I could do with a drink.
Nice.
Okay, wait. Oh, there's no bartender, huh?
No, there isn't. And I don't even think there's any alcohol.
I was gonna say, can I go behind the bar and pour a drink?
You could make a on being learned scavenging test to try to find some leftover alcohol in this bar. Sure.
I have to search for it. You're gonna make me search for it.
Here, let's just do it this way. Alpheus, roll a die of fate. Just roll a d6. Actually, I think there's a spot on your character sheet to do it that just says die of fate.
Where?
Right below.
I took my glasses off.
Right above skills.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
As soon as
if you get a 1,
I got a 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually for die of fate is if you get a 1, the thing is true. So, unfortunately, there's not any alcohol. So you look behind the bar for a second, and you're like, dang it.
All right.
Dry as a bone.
So then, well, I already told him to hurry up and get out of here, but
So this would be the question. You either Alpheus is rolling to stall or Joser is rolling to magically transport himself.
I don't know if like dialogue-wise, I can stall him without it being obvious.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that
so
I'm
Joser, do
trying
you want to
to
make
stall
just
him.
your like instantly transport yourself here roll?
I can, yeah.
I think you're gratiated right again.
Yeah.
For the time
Yeah, I
being.
already changed myself to grey.
But because
So are you
you're
all
in
like glowing now, or what?
I don't think so anymore. He like sent all of that into Sinia. I think because you are in Sinia though, Joser, you don't get the +1 odd penalty right now.
Yep. Yeah, is this like how miraculous is this?
Probably just a minor miracle, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll get Thalia to help me. Why not? So Thalia will help me. And that brings it down to 4 because I am a believer. Bizarre.
Very nice. All right, cool. So, Joser just probably like walks in right as Titan was going to walk out, right? He's like, "All right, well, Alpheus, it has been a pleasure." Gives you a little salute, but I think I'm going to. And then he turns, and Joser is standing in the threshold.
Peace, be still. And I'm going to try and do the hinder to just stop him.
Just immobilize him. Yeah.
Yeah.
4, I believe, right?
Just me. So might spend a
Close.
fate to see if it works.
Mhm.
Down to that. Oop. Fate 1-1. Nope.
Yeah. So you say that, but I think like he just makes a break for it instead, right? His instincts kick in, and he just tries to book it. What would you like to do to try to like grab him, or just like do whatever you want to do to him anyway?
Yeah, I'll just try and
Like disintegrate him.
No, I want. He might try that later. I think with just initial burst, he's gonna try and actually hit him with a knife, like stab him with a knife.
Okay.
Because I do have knives as a skill, and I've never used
Nice.
it. Same as I've never used any medicinal skill, except for apothecary that one time.
Yeah. I'll roll his brawling then. He's just gonna try to like knock you out of the way.
Get away.
And,
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Does he have any forks to this? You have a knife, so you can fork in knives just to know what motions you're probably going to do, blocking things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think... would you let me fork in sleight of hand?
I don't
similar?
think so. He's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not his sleight of hand that's going to help.
Very true. Well, grab is a 1.
Okay. So knives, I'll fork in bloodletting to know where to make him bleed the most. Anatomy for where to stab him. And anticipation wise to read where he's going to dodge to.
Yep.
So 3 helps. No other base obstacle.
There you go. You just stab him in the gut.
Mm-hmm. Think so.
Very nice. And I mean,
Nice.
you can do probably whatever. I guess, does a knife have an add of 1?
Yep.
So
it's 7, I believe.
B7.
B7
okay.
wound.
So he got a serious wound. He does not have. No, he has a power of 3, so he goes unconscious. Right. You stab him in the gut, and he just keels over and goes to the ground. What would you like to do?
Bloodletting to stabilize him. I want to see him face trail.
There you go. Yeah.
What's the ob for stabilizing?
Just to the stop the bleeding.
Yep.
Roll. It is
For bloodletting? For
bloodletting
severe wound?
is that's treatment. Where's the bleeding?
Just over the page.
Stop the
I think
bleeding.
severe wound for bloodletting is an op 2.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Okay, so I'll bloodletting it. I'll fork in anatomy, apothecary, and surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll also fork in astrology just for the lulls of he might die from negative die.
Right.
So that's 5 helps. No
Go for it.
armor, base obstacle 2.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Yeah, do you say as much to Alpheus, or just like, you sew up his wound or whatever, you stop the bleeding and you just look up and said, Titan is going to stand trial, right?
Yep. Let justice be the thing that spells the end of this man. If you want, you can be the prosecutor.
And Alpheus is like, no, I'm retired.
No, I'll leave that to you guys.
Cool.
So shall it be.
Okay. So there is one last thing that we have to figure out. And like, I suppose I could this is the thing that needs to happen, right? Joser needs to ascend to godhood. I suppose like there's like the war that the gods are having on the other side of the planet right now. Like you failed to roll on that to get more gods. But I suppose like at this point you could just be like, all right, all out war, like with Sinia as the base of operations, where all the gods come here and we can come out, go outward from there, and we could just like make the one faith roll to like, win the war if you'd like. What are we thinking here for that larger stuff?
I think that's certainly a possibility. Get all the priests together and go, let's win this.
Yeah. I just want to make sure there's nothing else that like would be a step between that and now. I feel like we definitely have reached the end of Death Unto Madness, and I don't want to like drag it out longer than we need to. So if that makes sense to you guys, I think we have Joser make the roll. I don't really know what happens if you fail this roll, but I guess we'll see. Let's just do it, right?
Yep.
So this is like, I assume, Ob 10 Miracle.
Yep.
Do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not white shaded until you actually get back into the sun and whatnot. But
we can probably get
a lot
priests and people together.
Yeah. So you obviously have, I think, all the gods that you have on your side currently can help with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's Malekith, that's Umpt, that's who else we got? Nessa and Hur probably could be convinced at this point to like join, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since you've actually have a foothold here. I think Aratos can join, right? If you're like, war with the gods, I think he'll join in now that you've shown that like I am on my way to ascension again, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So it's 10 so far? 10 help dice?
Yes. Malekith, if we didn't count him already.
Yep.
Calafina for children and hunting.
Yep. Mary,
yeah.
and
who else we got? There's Renpa and Monoma, who you didn't necessarily get. Like, I think both of them were waiting in the wings, but I think like if it's the final battle stuff, I think we can count them too, right? They're the last of the living gods that aren't like Ses or Khalid, who just kind of do their own thing.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to join, but
so I think that's 9 gods total so far.
And then priests, so like Kalik and other priests who don't have names.
Mm-hmm. Let's just at that point let's call it a nice round 22 helps.
That makes sense to me.
Yep, and that'll make it an even 30 dice that we're rolling. Doop.
Can I make one last test for like Seraphim and Dardanus together to try to give you some obstacle points here?
Sure.
We'll go ahead and do, their little dead god pantheon thing here. Is I think probably Dardanus is probably the one who's making this roll. No, maybe it's I don't know. It's one of either him or Seraphim. They probably have the same faith and dead gods or whatever. And it's probably so like let's give them a nice round 14 dice to work with, maybe. They are, I believe, white shaded though, given that they're gods. So we'll see. I mean, the worst they can do is give you +3 ob, but whoop. That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, so they give you +3 ob. But that's the furthest extent they can do, and now it's up to Joser. Can the dice lead him to victory?
Base obstacle of 13.
13, yeah. Nice. Very fun. Yeah, I mean, like, Sinia being taken was the most important piece of this, right? And so we see the gods wage war to bring peace to Arcadia once more, drive back the dead gods. I think we probably see at the tail end of this, once Joser is close to, like, getting back the sun power and is, like, driving back the Discordia and the madness and everything else, we see a cadre of cloaked figures with magic swords and things drop in out of from nowhere and start attacking demons, right? Attacking golems and things, right? So they join in late as soon as they can to help out here. Joser, would you like to describe to me, like, what does this look like in terms of, like, the montage here that happens beyond what I've already described, obviously?
I think the strangest thing that we see is that Joser never takes on the full raiment again. Like, we see him moseying around and helping out, but I think for the duration of this war, he doesn't ride around on the little cloud. He doesn't become Mario Man again. He just wanders around as his regular self, doing the miracles, of course, but maintaining, like, a regular visage.
More like a Gandalf figure than a god. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, like, your end goal would be to, like, redeem most, if not all, the Pantheon, right? If you can.
Yep, as many as they can.
I think there are certainly some that just can't be, right? They've gone too far. Dardanus and Seraphim included. I think let's see here. Hopsef probably can be brought back. Iole can probably be brought back, the goddess of agriculture, stars, and love. Cess and Khalid probably are, like, Cess is fire and evil, so it was already bad even though he wasn't dead. And so you probably just have to, like, imprison him or something by the end of this sequence. Praxinos probably is too far gone. We'll say for good measure, Conrad probably is too far gone, the god of time. Praxinos is the god of war. New Bait can be redeemed, healing and medicine eventually. Hecas is Zoe, right, goddess of plants. She ends up not being able to be redeemed, obviously, because she's, like, evil mastermind. But then Nicaea is the real question we have here. And I'm curious, you can probably just, like, describe this for me in the montage, right? Ophelia was stuck on the dark side of the planet after everything had happened, right? Nicaea is still there. She's probably going to keep being evil unless you can make an argument for why she could be turned good. I think probably we see a last thing with Ophelia where she's just like, yeah, I basically have nothing else to live for. I'm just going to go, like, give the big middle finger to Nicaea and say, you ruined my life. And then Nicaea's probably going to disintegrate me. That's probably her last thing, unless you had another idea.
Well, I mean, the first thing we see is that Josa meets up with Iole at some stage. And the two take a break in the fighting to literally debate over who's actually the god of agriculture.
Yeah.
I believe it ends in a standstill, and they just agree to debate another day.
And it honestly could be that Ophelia just wanders forever in the dark side. I think that honestly might be the better answer.
Yeah.
I think Tortude is the place where bad people go, right?
I'm just going to make a straight up faith roll, just Josa.
Okay.
No helps or anything. And I'm just going to depend if that miracles Nikaya. I think Nikaya does get redeemed, and if not, then she's too far gone.
Okay, makes sense to me. Got 8 out of 10.
I might as well spend a fate on it just for give her the best chance that we can. Nope.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense to me. Nikaya was like one of the biggest enemies the whole time, so yeah. Yeah, so I think Ophelia just like wanders forever on the dark side, in hell, basically, right? So I guess, is there anything else that needs to happen in terms of any loose ends that I'm missing here as we think through things? Obviously, we have like the epilogue of everybody, getting their happy endings, which honestly we could probably just do now if you guys are like, I don't know if we need to do a whole session with that. It really depends on what you guys want to accomplish in that. I basically, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. If there's anything else you would like to do in the game, now is the time to speak now or forever hold your peace. I think we're rapidly nosediving into end game here. True end game.
Could I like officially make a roll with Balthazar to be like, okay, you're Maya's bird now, and you're going to be trained like to be a
sure, yeah, makes sense to me.
Falconry bird. That's like my one belief that, like, I kind of unofficially worked on it, but just because that had to work.
And so this would be what you're saying falconry to like, trying to think of, it might make more sense to do animal husbandry here.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me look at what the ops for that is.
And my thought is like working in like soothing platitudes and potentially oratory to be, and probably noble wise to be like, well, I don't know if noble wise would actually work here because he's not a noble, but like Maya is.
Yeah, I don't think noble wise makes sense here. I think this is an animal husbandry role. I think it's an op for animal husbandry role to basically, like it's the raising and caring of animals is the skill, and this is like basically just being like, are you like make you Maya's bird, right? Like do the thing that you need to do to imprint Balthazar on her. But you can definitely fork in soothing platitudes and oratory because you can literally talk to him. So
she's just gonna like be talking to him after everything is settled and being like, you could have just let me get stabbed, like you, and then just like gone back to the wild and done your thing, and but there was some instinct in you that was like, oh no, this person is my handler and I'm going to protect them. And so she basically just adds to that, like Maya may not need that kind of protection all the time, but she could do with having an actual bird on her shoulder kind of thing.
It's so unseemly to for her not to have a bird on her shoulder.
Well, yeah, that's definitely part of the soothing platitude too, of like you would be elevating her her status in a way of like you would alter everyone else's perception of her by being loyal to her and, you know, training with us. You know, potentially you could gain a reputation of your own if you and Maya work together well and like are actually good at falconry and stuff. So
nice. Yeah, go for it. Vor.
Am I forking in falconry to this? Does that make sense? Okay.
An affinity for birds.
Yes, affinity for birds.
Yes, I always forget about it just because it's not on my
skills,
at the top of my sheet. I have 3 fate, so I'm gonna put 2 into this. Or oh wait, persona is what I put into the Artha, right?
Yes.
Okay, I might as well use my last persona point. I don't really need it for anything at this point.
And that's when Titan jumps back out to knife you. No, he's in prison.
4, right?
Yep.
Dang it.
You got a 6.
Okay.
2 fate.
Yeah.
I hate to ask, but is there any way I can help her with this role? I don't know.
Do you have a skill? Like the base skill is animal husbandry, so and you can't talk to the bird, so it would have to be something more. Let's see.
Etiquette, maybe.
Because no, I don't think so. Like this is convincing the bird to do. Like I don't think he cares about etiquette, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Conspicuous.
Look at me. Oh, it doesn't even matter.
There you go.
She got it.
Doesn't even matter. There you go.
Didn't need my help.
Very nice. Yeah. So, Avra manages to get Balthazar to be Maya's bird. Very nice.
Yay.
Yeah. And then you're right, like Maya and Avra can do bird stuff together now and actually bond as sisters, and yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, because that was really one of my, other than seeing Ben actually get crowned as the king.
Yes.
I don't know that Maya really has anything else that she like wants to see other than like just like be a family. She's just like I don't know. Like, so after like that traumatic experience with Ophelia, Avra, would I need to like convince you of anything that like I'm a sane person? Like, let's be like actual siblings, please.
Does Avra have trauma from her other sister betraying her that will forever keep Maya out of her reach?
I don't
like. I'll train you, but like we're not gonna do the sisterly thing. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I don't think so, because I think Avra's kind of in the same place where she's like, okay, all of this is over now, and now I'm married, and I can just kind of focus on the things that I like to do, and like focus on starting a family now that I'm not infertile.
True.
And so I think she's finally in the mindset where she can actually afford to like think about building a relationship with her other estranged sister. So.
Yep.
And yeah, and that's definitely like, I mean, she never really had that much faith in Ophelia in the first place. So I feel like it wasn't like a huge disappointment to her to be like, oh no, I like lost a sister. I could never try to like gain a sister back again. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Then, yeah, I mean, I don't think Maya in particular has anything else she wants to do. As long as her son is sitting in the throne, she.
And I think so, right? Like, and we could have Joser make a ritual rule for the fun of it, but it probably doesn't matter. And like, I think at this point, right, we get kind of montage of, I mean, Avra, I assume, right, is going to teach Ben how to be Prophet King, right, through reading the Irida and stuff like that, right? Giving him all the information he needs to interpret it and whatnot. Alpheus gets his retirement, I assume, in Carisia. And Carisia, I mean, the thing is, Alpheus, it's a funny thing about this is like, you get to Carisia and it's like a complete dump, right? It's just completely destroyed and stuff. So, you definitely have your work cut out for you, even in retirement, to like, get it back into working order. yeah, I think we see Alpheus, sitting in a chair, watching a hippo go by on a lake, right? Sipping some juice or whatever, right? Getting his happy ending. Anything else that any of you would like to describe about that before I think there's maybe okay, so I think the only other thing would be like a question for you, Josh, like any other like cosmological changes that Joser would try to institute. Like if we still have like the dark side of the planet stuff, like are you just keeping that the way it is? Because like I think the idea would be if you keep it the way it is, you can, like keep all the like you can basically make Tartarus, like make Tartuit the Tartarus it was always meant to be, and actually lock everything away for all time, right? And keep a vigil over it in a way that won't be corrupted, right? Now that you have your power back and you have your wits about you and know what you need to do. I just don't know if you would try anything else along that bent.
I'm trying to remember what we said with her, because that wasn't initially the father's charge to do that.
Yes. Yeah. No, yeah, I guess the father shows up at some point here. I guess I kind of forgot about that, like being part of this whole thing. And that's probably one of the things that happens during the whole sequence where Joser's redeeming everybody and waging war is like the presence of the father fully comes back, and that's the thing that like along with Joser's path to ascension that really like kicks it up a notch and gets Joser to be able to go back to the sun and get his white shaded faith back and do the thing he needs to do as a god, right? So everything's back to normal there. You have your Umbara doing the things they need to do. You have the Kalahim, the gods who haven't been locked away in Tartuit forever. Back to doing the things they should be doing. This doesn't mean that like Arcadia is like a utopia now. There's like a lot of rebuilding that has to be done, and honestly, there's still like bad things that could happen in the future. It's not like everything got made perfect. It's just it's not a hellhole anymore like it was, right? Full of demons and dying gods. So
yeah, I mean, I think at some point Joser will try and work out a way to get rid of the Tartuans once and for all.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that they work on rather than something they do instantly.
Makes sense to me. Cool. Well, how about we do some Martha, shall we? Bringing this thing to a close. Alpheus.
I don't know if I did anything for Ben this time. I mean, I got Titan killed, so I guess I did, actually.
Yeah. You didn't really make a roll towards it, per se, but I'll give you a fate point, certainly. Like, it was relevant, and things were happening there. And then, yeah, obviously Persona to convince Cyrillus to stop this path of chaos.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll give you a fate point for always try to talk my way out of trouble, right? That's Alpheus did that to great effect today. Let's see. Any humor, right skill, right time, trait stuff. I suppose you probably get Catalyst again for your being in the middle of two powerful personas. So you take a persona point for that. But this is, obviously we're not going to use these per se, but it's just like kind of a final tally of all the things Alpheus did. Let's see. I'll give you embodiment. I mean, once Alpheus, once Chad decided, like, yes, I will like talk Cyrillus out of this. I really liked the stuff he said. Alpheus had a really good speech for Cyrillus there, and I like that. So persona there. Now the question is, did he get a deeds? I don't think he did. Like that was part of the thing that was sort of sad about this session is like some of the arcs that like were leading to possible deeds points because of the, like where everyone was at towards the end of this just didn't end up falling into line. Alpheus really couldn't protect Ben, give his life for Ben or anything like that. Where he was going, but it's fine. Like Alpheus did so much. Like, and I think you could definitely get a persona point for Workhorse. Alpheus did so much behind the scenes, just in general, throughout the whole campaign, that made everything line up the way that it did.
Yeah, that's
towards
true.
the end. Alpheus didn't need to be the person who had the shining moment at the end. I mean, he had a moment with Searless, which is fun, but
He
Alpheus
blew
was
up.
certainly, yeah, he blew up. Yeah, Alpheus didn't need to be the flashy person in front of everybody at the end. At the end of the day, he got a peaceful retirement. All right, Joser.
Indeed. I've been marked by my domain station. I will make sure that Avra and Celadon were married, and they were.
You did it, Persona.
I also did activate the right of protection,
Yep, Persona.
and I did increase my faith. Finally.
Nice, Persona.
Don't think any of my instincts actually came into play. Technically, I made the wounds that I then saw and mended.
Yeah. I'll give you a fate point for that because honestly, it was the first time we ever saw Joser do any of that, so at least fun to see. I don't know. Was there any humor fate points to give out this time? Everything was pretty serious. I don't know if there's any joking that happened. I'll give Joser embodiment. I mean, Josh usually knocks it out of the park with fun speeches and things. So, I especially like the moment with Titan, with Joser. Right, I'm going to retire in too. I'll need a drink. Yeah, that was good.
I also really
Also-
wanted to make sure I dropped the line of I declared death unto madness.
Yes.
So we got the title in there.
I love that. Yep. Also, honestly, take a fate point for humor because the line I'm retired too. I could use a drink made me laugh. Yeah. I mean, Joser obviously gets MVP for this arc. I mean, he's the person who drove the story to its conclusion. So persona point there. As for traits, I don't think so. Everything went pretty well. No trouble, really. Yeah, after all the the existential crises about am I willing to give up my life or the life of those I love? Everything just kind of worked out, which is nice. Maya.
I think I worked on well, I didn't make any rolls towards I will protect that at all costs. I didn't actually do anything. Just cowered in the corner. I will do something to ensure I tried to do something to ensure her wedding day was special.
Honestly, I'm going to give you a fate point for I will protect Ben at all costs as well. Like, you just describing what you were going to do was very fun to me. Like, that would have been a great moment for Maya. And, you know, it was cool to see that Maya was willing to do that sort of thing. So, fate point.
Okay.
But yeah, then fate point for that and then find someone to guard.
I did that.
Yep. Cool. So... let's see. I don't know if any of your traits really came up either, so. Maya was the ultimate behind the scenes character, so I don't think.
Which is so funny because I'm the drama kid who loves to be in front of everybody.
Yep.
She learned to be humble, I think.
Yeah. And a lot of Maya's arcs climaxes happened like late season 3 or early season 4. So we got some Maya conclusions far before this point. And I think that's probably it. So Avra.
I believe Sinia can be reclaimed. I will see Celadon sat on the throne with whatever aid that Irida can provide. I didn't really directly do that one.
Yeah, there wasn't much chance for anyone to work on it except for Joser with
I
all
expected
the space
to
stuff.
be way more involved in that scene.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened while we were somewhere else, so
yeah,
that didn't really work.
Yeah.
I believe Alikos is a powerful asset. I will use my falconry skills to give us the upper hand in this battle. I tried.
You did. I mean, you ultimately did, right? Like, at the end of the day, Balthazar, the die actually rolled in your favor, so Persona. And then you won both over Balthazar for Maya, so Persona.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, fate point for if I don't know someone's intentions, I will not reveal my secrets. Or careful, probably careful more than anything. You tried lying to Ophelia, and it got you stabbed. Right, or almost got you stabbed. I think that's it. I don't know if anyone else. I'll give you embodiment, Avra. There's some fun moments with Alikos and Balthazar and the thing with Maya at the end. I like seeing Avra bring those threads to their conclusions. But I don't know. I don't think anyone earned any deeds points. Like, I mean, I guess Joser technically, because I mean, you saved the whole world and you did it for non-selfish reasons. But like, I don't know. Like, it didn't feel like a deeds point to me. I don't know about you, Josh.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, everything worked out pretty well, all things considered. There weren't any like drastic moments that needed like deeds point worthy sacrifices. So, I think that's it. And thus concludes Death unto Madness. Thanks for playing, guys. I really appreciated this campaign and all the fun stuff we got to do. There's certainly more things that could happen in this world. Maybe we return to them someday, but for now, I think we're out here on Death unto Madness. Thanks for going longer. Appreciate it. As we can wrap up everything. But for now, we're out. See ya.